I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow ye will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Oh, the wind was foul and the sea ran high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. She shipped it green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. I hate to sail on this rotten tub. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. No grog allowed and rotten grub, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. We swear by our oath for want of more. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. But now we're through, so we'll go on shore, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her.
All of this just works.
Now you're ready to sail for the Horn. Way, hey, roll and go. Our boots and our clothes, boys, are all in the porn. To be rollicking randy dandy, oh. Heave a pole, heave away. Way, hey, roll and go. The anchor's on board and the cable's all stored. To be rollicking randy dandy, oh. Soon we'll be warping her out through the locks. Way, hey, roll and go. Where the pretty young girls all come down in their frocks. To be rollicking randy dandy, oh. Heave a pole, heave away. Way, hey, roll and go. The anchor's on board and the cable's all stored. To be rollicking randy dandy, oh. Come breast the bars, bullies, heave her away. Way, hey, roll and go. Soon we'll be rolling her down through the bay. To be rollicking randy dandy, oh. Heave a pole, heave away. Way, hey, roll and go. The anchor's on board and the cable's all stored. To be rollicking randy dandy, oh.
Welcome to Highguard.
Welcome to Highguard. Welcome. How is everybody? Hopefully you're feeling good. Hopefully you're feeling good. I know I am feeling welcomed to Highguard. Sure am. Sure am.
Welcome to Highguard.
You know what? It's funny. We can laugh about it now.
All of this just
I pressed the wrong button. At the time, it was a little stressful. Yes. At the time, there was drama. But now we can just laugh about it, you know? But, you know, it's a good old lesson that if you talk up a game everybody hates and things look like it sucks. And I can't talk. If you talk up a game everyone hates and everyone looks like it sucks.
You chose to broke the law. Live with the consequences.
You have to live with the consequences. Okay. That's what you have to do. How is everybody doing? Everybody feeling good? Everybody feeling alive? Everybody feeling good? Hopefully you are. I know I am. We had, of course, a surprising day yesterday. I think a lot of people left somewhat surprised. And even, dare I say, impressed, which left, I mean, it was pretty surprising, I think, for a lot of people to leave a Ubisoft showcase, like, really impressed. Oh,
We fly no colors out here, but praise the lack of them. So let the black flag signal nothing but your allegiance to man's natural freedoms.
If a man plays the fool, then it's only fools he'll persuade, but appear to be the devil. And all men will submit.
We're pirates, kid. We take as we please and become who we like.
But that look ain't you. It's not who you are.
Who am I then?
You're a wonder, Kenway. You've a knack for this kind of work.
It ain't work if you love it.
hard? Throbbing? Pulsating? Girthy? All of it, I think, applies. All of it. Pretty fire. Furthermore, we have a couple of updates and clarifications. So there were some questions left after people saw some of these deep dives and info pieces. So I wanted to follow this up and just let you know that there are some more tidbits we have. One of the things people were wondering after seeing a lot of this is obviously the combat is punchy and crazy. But there was one kind of omnipresent question that was not clarified yet. Where's the blood? Where's the blood? Like, this is a pirate adventure. I would expect that, like, some blood. I understand doing, like, you know, gore system decapitation is a big ask, especially for a remake. Like that, I'm not asking for that, but like blood effects. Where are blood effects? I'm just curious. I'm just asking questions. You know, that was a very valid question. A lot of people were wondering. Well, we got an answer. Where did the blood effects go? Where did they go? Let me show you. Justin, who is a senior producer, just a producer at Ubisoft Singapore working on this game, said a few things to quickly address, I guess, without getting in trouble, hopefully. There will be blood in the final game, and it will not be a paid DLC. We hear the feedback on the VFX and audio cues during fights, and it's being toned down. What seems to have happened is that for distributing the trailer and avoiding like platform restrictions, they turned off in the settings the gore, which has been a thing in many games recently, where in the settings you can manually toggle off blood. And the reason for that is because platforms like TikTok, if their AI algorithm detects blood, it automatically puts it in like adults only category and like freaks out. It's kind of a problem. It's why like I want to make videos on like Dying Light or something, but you just can't because it's like, no, this is basically you know, like a snuff piece. That's how they treat it. So they turned off blood for filming the trailers and for filming all of this footage, but there will be blood in the final game. They just had it turned off for this. Okay. Yeah, so what else do we got? Miss Anne Bonnet.
And legendary treasures at stake.
Along the way, he joins forces with infamous pirates, such as Anne Bonny.
Somebody commented on our video and called her Anne Mommy. Which, fair. I get it, but I'm watching you guys.
Charles Vane, and Blackbeard. With them, he helps establish a short-lived, lawless republic following the pirate code and defying empires built on cruelty and greed. Together, in their search for freedom, power, and riches, they'll fight across a treacherous tropical paradise, from dangerous waters to dense jungles untamed lands and bustling historical cities. From the grandeur of Havana, the thriving and wealthy jewel of the Caribbean ruled by Templars.
So I'm just gonna end up rewatching the whole thing. Yeah, so the feedback has been pretty resounding. People are pretty stoked on it. And I think it's just refreshing to see that people are actually excited about it. It's weird to be here, but you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Yeah. Oh, another question people had was whether they were returning social stealth, if that was going to come back, because they didn't really discuss it in any of the footage or trailers. AC Landmarks grabbed this again, also from Justin that we just looked at. You can see somebody asked, is social stealth using groups to blend in, hiring dancers to distract, sitting on benches, still part of Resynced, or have they been removed? And he said, it's still there. Hashtag faithful. Hashtag faithful, baby. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love. So that's also there. They just didn't really get into it. And let's see, was there anything else? Oh yeah, there were some people complaining about this was funny. One of you guys tagged me in this. Ashton tagged me in this. Shout out Ashton. I didn't see this, but there is this looks like, I think this is TikTok. TikTok or IGN posted a video going through changes in Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Edward's actor Matt Ryan is back. Okay, so they're just doing a video. Bro, these comments. Too much water, 4 out of 10. Too much combat, 5 out of 10. Too many assassins, 6 out of 10. And you'll still give it a 4 out of 10. Too much pirates, 1 out of 10. Dude, they are clowning on them so bad. It's crazy. Ashton, yeah, it's my tag. Yeah, good job. Thank you for tagging me in it. It's freaking hilarious. And later in stream, we're going to talk about IGN crapping the bed again, because they reviewed an upcoming roguelike game, and one of their primary complaints was that sometimes it feels kind of repetitive. Their complaint was that a roguelike leaves you feeling like you're doing kind of the same thing many times. What? It's like complaining that an RTS has too much strategy. It's like, that is literally what it is. That is literally the game. Okay, it's gonna be funny. We'll talk about it. And we'll look at the review. We'll give it a shot. But I mean, again, it's at this point, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, either there's levels of incompetence that we just can't even fathom, or it's intentional at this point. I don't even know, man. They revealed PC specs for Black Flag Resynced as well. So they go all the way down to minimum at 1080p 30, low settings, standard ray tracing. This is one thing some people are surprised by, but this seems to be just the new standard across the whole industry, is that games are being built with ray tracing from the ground up. So like, for example, when the Digital Foundry guys looked at GTA 6, there is no version of that game that runs without ray tracing. Like, it is built into the very core of the game. Like, that's just, it's how it lights stuff. So there is no getting away from ray tracing. There's no rasterized lighting. And I think that I mean, there's reasons a lot of games are doing that. The primary one just being a lot of games that allow you to turn off ray tracing, like, they look like different games when you toggle it on or off. And so rather than having graphically just huge gaps, they're just making it standard that's what it is. But you can see standard ray tracing. It goes down to Ryzen 5 3600 or an i7 8700K, which is like 2018, I think would be that CPU. Probably 87. I think that's like 2018. 1660 or a 5500 XT or an Intel Arc 580. 16 gigs of RAM, and it will support Windows 10 as well, which a lot of games are not doing anymore, apparently. Recommended 1080p 60, medium settings, balanced upscaler presets, and you can see that they seem to be optimizing it for using upscalers just across the board. Not my preference. I rather that they optimize with no upscalers. That's what I would prefer to see, but At least they're disclosing it. 10600K, 3060, 6600 XT. And then you see they go through some of the other things that they support graphically, at least. So ray trace global illumination, reflection, support for software-based ray tracing and pre-computed lighting. In-game benchmark tool for performance analysis, dynamic resolution support, AMD iFinity and NVIDIA surround compatible upscalers, FSR 4, DLSS 4.5, Intel XeSS 3, dedicated handheld presets, which to me suggests that they're going to be Steam Deck verified, which would be awesome if they can do that. High at 1440p, quality settings 3080, extreme is 4K 60, ultra, everything's extended, quality, blah, 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 everything you would expect, just cranked out the ass. And they still have what, 2 months, 3 months? So they do still have time for further optimization, which I would expect, because like usually performance 3 months out is like pretty rough, at least in my experience testing games. So I would guess that it's going to get overhauled even more and improved even more. Let's see. I mean, the tailing missions. Did you ask the AC guys about the escort or the tailing missions? Well, what they said about the tailing missions is that previously what would happen is you would be following a guy. He's walking along. You're up climbing and like parkouring up buildings, and you're watching these guys walk down the path, right? Live demonstration. But if they saw you or you jump down accidentally, they turn around. What are you doing here? Instant fail. You have to go all the way back to the beginning of that trailing mission and start over, right? And that's just how it would work. Now, my understanding is the way it'll work is that if you're going about trailing this guy, climbing around, climbing up, jump down, and they turn around and see you, and so you effectively fail the trailing mission. Now it doesn't automatically fail. You'll just go into like combat, and they probably have like some, if you needed to follow them to find out information about your target, now you have to fight them and kill them, and then you'll probably find a note on them or something. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but the point is it's not now just an instant fail. You have to follow this like exact train track of trailing, otherwise you fail. If you want to just run in there and cause havoc, you can, and it won't like necessarily punish you for it. So that's my understanding, but again, it's not super clear how that'll work, but that's my understanding. Garrett says with a $10 super chat, thank you very much. I'm excited for AC Black Flag, but I'm curious if there will ever be another Wolfenstein or Bioshock. I know Ken Levine showed off another game like Bioshock, but didn't know if you knew anything. There is another Bioshock in development. It was apparently rebooted, basically. They, I only heard from like one source, so I don't want to like report on it because I don't tend to talk about stuff unless I get two sources. But all I will say is that somebody reached out to me who I have good reason to believe knows what they're talking about. And they said basically that the Bioshock game went into a review with some higher ups at 2K, like the parent company. And that the review was failed pretty catastrophically. And so they basically restarted a bunch of different parts of the game. One of the primary things that the executives were really worried about was the narrative and the story. Bear in mind, this was coming off of the wake of like Dragon Age of the Veilguard, Forspoken, like games that mainly failed, in my opinion, because of the writing quality. And all I will say, I won't be specific until somebody else reaches out. So if you know what you're talking about on this project, feel free to reach out to me. Maybe you can corroborate this. But all I know is that if what this person told me was true about what the original story was going to be, it's probably for the best that they rebooted it. I'll just say that, okay? I'll just say that. Because what I was told was, it was, again, I'd like to be specific. I shouldn't be specific. I don't think it would have been received well. I'll say that. I don't think it would have been received well. I think it would have been it would have caused lots of discussion. a lot of what they wanted to do would have generated discourse. I'll say that. Okay. So I think that it's probably for the best that they decided to go back and try to rework it. And to the executives' credit, you know, they seemingly are trying to get ahead of those problems and fix them before they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on it and try to just force you into liking it. But it's why, like I said, you know, make your voice heard. If you don't like something, don't buy it. And so if you don't like the writing in something like Veilguard, or if you don't like something like the writing in Saints Row Reboot or something, don't buy it, vocalize it. Because those executives, the one thing they love more than anything is money. And like, even if they want to be seen as like really hip and cool with, I guess, I don't even know who likes Saints Row Reboot's writing, but maybe somebody out there does. But even if they wanted to be liked by those people, the thing they like more is money. And so if they know the game is going to fail and lose lots of money, if they go that direction, they just won't. And so I think that there were some major rewrites, and they're overhauling a good amount of stuff. Yeah. I've been told should be on the bingo card. Yeah, we could update it. But anyway, we'll see. Like I said, maybe it's the case that there's some other tidbit, but it was specific enough that I was like, yeah, that would have been a problem. That would have been a problem. Were you not reviewing Saros? I got my copy of Saros later than I would have been able to finish it, because as you guys know, I was traveling yesterday, so I wasn't driving, I was traveling. So sorry, I watched some Sovereign Citizen videos, and I've had that on my mind. It's funny. So I've not been able to finish it yet, but I do plan to have a video out probably tomorrow. No, I think embargo lifts for those types of videos in like 2 days. I don't know. I will have a video up before launch on it, but I just have not been able to finish it yet, because like I said, I got the game like 2-3 days ago or something, so I just haven't had time. Let me catch up on all these real quick. MT, thank you for the very generous $10 super chat. Sorry to go off topic. I always wanted to play AC Unity, but what state is it in at this time? I heard some horror stories on bugs. I'll be playing on PS5. To be clear, Unity has never been in a great spot. Okay, it's better than it's ever been, but that's not saying a whole lot because it was hella broken at launch. So you can play it, you can enjoy it. My primary recommendation is PC if you can. If you are playing on PlayStation, I think you'll still have a dandy time. It should be totally fine. But yeah, you're gonna have bugs, you're gonna have weird pop-in, you're gonna have stuff like that. That's just, it is what the game is. But I think that it's now at a point where you can still certainly enjoy it. So I would still recommend you play it. Embargo should be up. So there's different embargoes for the different types of content. So like the review embargo can lift on X day, but usually like if I'm doing a video in the format of like I tried Saros or something, that embargo might be later, like 2-3 days later. It's the same reason why like they don't let people start streaming a game the moment the review embargo lifts. Because if the review embargo lifts a week beforehand, like they don't want people like streamers spoiling everything, right? So they're going to put the embargo later. So I just have to double check when that is, but we'll get the video up soon. X day, Christmas? Yes. Let's see. But yes, MT, I would recommend you still play it. I think you'll enjoy it. North from Mars, thank you for the super chat. Hey Luke, did you see the new Xbox push from Asha? Yes, we're going to take a look at it here in just a few, because there's some interesting tidbits. Let's see. Garrett, thank you for the 10, very generous. Oh, I did just read that one about Bioshock. Wolfenstein, yes, I think we will see again. Bioshock, we will see again, but again, they're having to like overhaul it, and 2K has put in some new guidance, so we'll see. It's gonna be a while. I think Bioshock was probably supposed to launch this year, and they like gutted it and restarted a lot. So now I think it's like 2-3 years out. They've been working on it forever, but it wasn't where it was supposed to be. So, and for them, they'd rather restart parts of it and get it right than shove it out the door and then have it do brand damage to Bioshock. Like, can you imagine if they screwed up Bioshock and then Bioshock becomes like Saints Row in terms of its like reputation? And talk about how the giants have fallen, how the great have fallen. So they don't want that. They want to take their time and get it right. That's I think the main goal. Where's Judas? God knows. I don't know. But we should see that soon. But we also said that a year ago. I think the last time I showed you guys this, it was like Judas. It was like we played Judas. Remember he went and gave access to like the FPS podcast. Where do they get Ken in? So like this, we played 5 hours of Judas and interviewed its creator. Okay. This was 2 years ago, March of 2024. The camera's out of focus. Come on, man. There you go. Sometimes it freaks out. Or it tries to focus on like one of the skulls in the background or on her. So yeah, sometimes it does that. Anyway, like companies don't tend to do promotion for their games until they're close to launch, right? This was 2 years ago. And they've done like almost nothing since then. I think he went on another couple of podcasts like last year, but there's been like nothing. Like, I don't understand. Like, I want to play it. I want to know more about it, but it's just like he came out, gave them 5 hours with it, and then disappeared for another 2 years. And I don't understand. Now, one of the things is that he describes all of Judas as like being built on narrative Lego bricks. So his whole idea is that he wants to build a tool within the game where as you play through, the story will change based on how you play it, because they have a bunch of narrative vignettes or Lego blocks that they then can piece together and build together into something new. So every player's experience with the game will change. The concern I have with it, especially with all the delays, is that it kind of sounds like exactly the type of thing you'd want to use like LLMs for and like AI tools for. And I'm worried that they've like delayed it to implement stuff like that. But I don't know. I at this point, how many delays can you go through before I'm like, what are we like? What's happening? What are we doing? Because again, we got a gameplay overview from IGN 2 years ago. And again, they tend to only do this when they're close, right?
I can't tell you any more about Judas that Ken didn't already talk about in the interview so as not to spoil anything for you, but I can describe what's going on in these gameplay clips. Let's start right where the game does, with you being reprinted. It looks incredibly painful, and the fact that you're being reprinted at all means that, you guessed it, you've been dead for some indeterminate amount of time. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. You play as Judas, a hacker and self-taught engineer who's part of a multi-generational trip from Earth to a new planet called Proxima Centauri aboard the colony ship called the Mayflower. The capital M mission is to continue the human race after departing Earth due to a bacterial plague. Also, on board this ship, you're not particularly well liked. See, it turns out that things went seriously sideways, and it's all your fault.
J stands for Judas.
Now that you live again, you've got the 3 holographic heads of the ship to contend with. Tom, the ship's head of security.
Like, all of this sounds cool. I want it. Gimme. I just don't know how you could have the game in like this spot where you're promoting it, you're sharing it with people, showing it to them, and then the game just disappears for 2 years. Like that just, I don't know what's happening for the last 2 years. Are they, have they been overhauling stuff? Have they been adding stuff? Did they discover game-breaking bugs? Did they just, like, what is the holdup? Genuinely. I don't know. 2 years is a long time. Like, that is a long time. You know, like, a lot of games, once they go into full production, are put together in, like, 2 to 3 years. So, and it sounded like the game was close to done when he was doing these promotional things. So, I just don't know, man. I don't know. I don't understand it. Maybe someone got betrayed. What do you mean? Maybe he stopped working on Judas to work on Highguard. Oh, like called in a ringer. Needed some help. I don't know, man. That's just what Ken does. Yeah, to be fair, and I guess in case anybody doesn't know, Ken Levine is known. I mean, he's a legend of the industry. Makes really, really good games, but he is known for being a perfectionist and taking for freaking ever. So like he made Bioshock, Bioshock Infinite, Freedom Force, System Shock 2. Okay, like he's an OG. But notably within like Bioshock Infinite, that game was such a nightmare in terms of development, apparently, that they restarted development like 2 or 3 times. It sold 11 million copies worldwide, did tremendously well, won a bunch of Game of the Year awards, and did very, very well. But they ended up shutting down the studio, Irrational Games. Like they closed it. They had 300 employees and shut it down. Like what? In 2014, following the release of Bioshock Infinite, Levine wanted to leave the AAA industry and work on smaller narrative games, so he started a smaller studio within Take-Two with some Irrational employees, later named Ghost Story Games, while Take-Two closed down Irrational Games. So he left, started his own thing, and then Ghost Story, they've been working on that one. They revealed the game almost 4 years ago. So, I don't know. Long story short, where's Judas? It could drop literally any day. They could shadow drop it and I wouldn't be surprised because it's like, it should be done. It should be done. I don't know what the hell is going on. Like this has been his baby for over a decade now. And so I'm like, I want to see it, but I don't know what's happening. Who's bankrolling Judas? 2K. So 2K, they know that Ken, when he works on something, it ends up really, really good. So they know what they're getting into with him. And so they've basically given him a blank check to just do whatever and like take his time. But that has meant that he's had somebody bankrolling development for a decade on something that seems interesting, but that still has not seen the light of day. So I don't know. Not this year because of GTA 6. Well, as long as it doesn't launch within a month of GTA 6, it can still do well. If it launched in like early October, that's fine. Even like middle October, that should be totally fine. You just don't want to launch in November or December. Especially because this game seems like one that they're going to try to target like some Game of the Year awards and stuff with, because that's what Ken's stuff typically does. So if it's not releasing in like October, I think it ends up being next year, which would be even crazier. But that's just where we are. That's just where we are. Let's see. I just got done eating at Buc-ee's. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Mad respect. Gotta love you some Buc-ee's. I love me some bussies. I love bussies. It's really good. Really good. Really good. Tail Guy, thank you for, is it Tail Guy or Tall Guy? Tall Guy. Maybe you like Tail. I don't know. Thank you for the 2. Yeah, those were about the escort or trailing missions. Read those and answered those. Thank you for that. Victor, thank you for the super chat. The Elder Scrolls 6 will have better sailing. Than the pirate, it'll have better sailing than the pirate game. If Elder Scrolls 6 has sailing at all, it would be really funny if it was just load screens. Like, can you imagine if it worked the same way that like Starfield does, where it's like, you want to travel up the coast? Click your target destination, load screen. You've arrived. Like, literally, you don't sail, you just warp. That would be funny. They can't be stupid enough to do that. Surely not. But you never know. You never know. Where am I? I'm old Derek. Thank you for that. 5. Have you seen or heard of The Spotter Dig or Die on Steam? Wacky mining and tower defense hybrid game. 10 out of 10 would recommend for some chill fun. I have not heard of that, but I will open it in another tab. And I will look at that because I'm always down for some chill fun. Dig by day, fight by night. This blend of mining and tower defense. As the last spotter at a ruined gas station, hold back mutant hordes, scavenge the wasteland, and repair your receiver to capture the president's vital message of humanity's last hope. Ooh, fun. Oh, thank you for the recommendation. I've got it pulled up. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Olive on Trees, think of the 5. Luke, I've been avoiding AC since the second game. Thinking of playing Odyssey. Is this a good starting point? I like RPGs and I'm feeling quite hungry. If you like RPGs in general, Odyssey is a good one to start with. It's very different from like what Black Flag is going to be or was. So it's a very different type of game. But if you're specifically looking for RPGs, I think Odyssey is a good one. As I've said for years at this point, Odyssey is a really good fantasy adventure RPG. It is not a very good Assassin's Creed game at all, but it's a really good fantasy adventure game. And it has some really clever RPG mechanics and it's freaking huge. Like it's very well done. I really like Odyssey. I really do. Now it's kind of popular to like AC Odyssey again. For years I would get roasted for liking it, but now it's kind of cool. It's been enough time that it's cool again. You know, yeah, there's ship battles, there's entire wars and fights and like political intrigue. It's really good. So yeah, I would say check out Odyssey. I think you'll be in for a real treat with that one. I really like Odyssey. I'm a fanboy. Sam the Apollo Wolf, thank you for the 5. Hey Luke, what are your thoughts on AC Black Flag after looking at the new footage? Honestly, I think I'll stick with just the OG game at this point. Now, I think it looks freaking phenomenal. I think they did pretty much everything properly. I still have some questions. Like I want to know about the officers. I want to know about that. I want to know how that works. I want to know like how the combat feels in the hand, because obviously you just don't know until you try it. But overall, I mean, I think it looks like a faithful recreation and it looks like they've done a really good job. I am very biased because I really like Black Flag, and so I'm giddy to have the chance to explore it in like high fidelity. So I'm kind of the target audience for it, but I think it looks great. I think they did a really good job with it based on what I've seen so far. So I'm here for it. Gaming Station, thank you for the super chat. By the way, Asha as in Asha Sharma literally means hope, LOL. I guess right now all Xbox fans got some Asha. I think so. I mean, the energy is certainly very good right now. It's very good right now. And we're seeing even just, where is it? Where's the, maybe if I just look up Asha's Twitter, I can find it. Asha. Asha Sharma, here it is. Okay, we are Xbox. She met with Kojima. I saw a tweet from one guy who was like, I decided to work from home today. I didn't realize Kojima was coming into the office today. He's like, I cannot believe I chose to work from home today. It's pretty funny. Where is it? Well, like, you know how Xbox for the last few years, oh, here it is. Xbox for the last few years, they've gone with this like minimalistic white logo on black background. Very clean, very modern, you know, simple, streamlined, whatever. Well, Xbox appears to be rebranding once more, specifically back to the green, translucent, slight glow effect Like this just screams old school Xbox. It screams old school Xbox. The white logo was very Apple. You know, it's trying really hard to be super clean and aesthetic and everything. Gaming is gaming. Like gaming is like it glows with style. You know, it's gaming is not like that. And that's what people like about it. It doesn't need to be clean and corporate. People, if anything, don't like it. Green for money, baby. Yeah, well, I mean, you got to have lots of money to afford a console right now, but this I like way more than the just white on black background. Like I like this a lot more. How did I even do that? Stop. Okay. And as you can see, like we're starting to see a real, I mean, look at this, 186,000 likes. Bro. Like there is a real optimism that if I were at PlayStation, if I was like one of the executives at Xbox or at PlayStation, I would take this seriously. Like there is an energy within the gaming industry surrounding Xbox that I think is in large part because of Asha. And it doesn't mean that they've dug themselves out of the pit. It doesn't mean that they are on their way fully. But there's an energy at the very, very least, and an optimism even. Maybe, as you said, maybe the best term for it is a hopefulness that has not really been there for years and years and years. And now there's further stories. Jesus Christ. Is this what we're doing now? Creepy. It's fine if it's Todd. This feels uncomfortable to me. Maybe it's just because I'm used to the memes with Todd, but this feels weird. Anyway, that totally distracted me. Xbox chief Asha Sharma also mentioned during her all hands on yesterday that the teams are meeting daily on Project Helix, and there will also be bi-weekly Series X and S console updates until the end of the year. The reinvestment in Xbox OS is very interesting. In other words, they're trying. Blasphemy against Todd? Yeah. Let's see. Microsoft also. So this is another interesting tidbit. Microsoft is bringing the Xbox branding back, which I know some people are like, did it ever leave? Yes, it did. Technically, Microsoft for about a year cleaned out Xbox and they were trying to rebrand as Microsoft Gaming. Sounds like a very Satya decision, if you're asking me, but that's what they did. So Microsoft Gaming is out. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma has had a busy week. Sharma held an internal town hall with Xbox employees today. This was posted on the 23rd, so yesterday. Xbox, yes. So just days after announcing the Xbox Game Pass price cut, cementing the status of Xbox, or commenting on the status of the Xbox mobile store and teasing a mysterious Xbox and Discord partnership, one of the items on the agenda for the employee all hands meeting was scrapping Microsoft Gaming. Sources familiar with the meeting tell me that Sharma announced that Microsoft is returning to using Xbox for its gaming division instead of Microsoft Gaming. Quote, Xbox needs to be our identity, said Sharma, noting that Microsoft Gaming was a departure from that. I don't know anybody, like seriously, was there a single person on this beautiful, amazing planet that thought Microsoft Gaming was the right move? Like, was there anybody who liked that? Like, was there anybody who was like, I like that way more than Xbox? CCAT me and band. No. Gotcha. We gotcha. I don't like, it is so corpo. And this is the thing, kind of something we have to just be real about. Okay. All corporations try to come off as not corporations. Okay. Well, like, every corporation that is led by somebody worth their salt is aware that they are not like the regular people and that their success hinges on you kind of separating out that this is a multi-trillion-dollar company and that they have, just that they have a product you want, right? They're trying to build that like relationship or like cult of the brand, you know, like with Apple, people constantly like kind of lose sight of Apple as like a gigantic giga corporation, and they just end up getting like locked into the culture of Apple. Apple Showcase. Like, do you guys remember this one? WWDC 2024. Like, bear in mind, this guy is worth probably tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're showcasing new hardware for like electronics that they manufacture. Oh, this is 2022.
We have to show you today. But first, let's head downstairs. Now, let's talk about iOS.
Oh, okay. Dude, I kind of wish he had been named CEO just because I think the presentations would have been freaking hilarious.
Let's talk about macOS.
Like, can you imagine him starting every showcase this way? Can you imagine? It's so stupid. It's so stupid, but I love it so much. Yeah, it's just so dumb. Where's the oh yeah, they were doing all sorts of Formula One stuff. I kind of forgot about that.
That was supposed to be a quick lap, not a therapy session. But it feels so much better.
Insanity, okay? Absolutely insanity. So, but like this was what was so weird about Microsoft gaming is that it was like this, don't even try to come off as like in touch with your consumer base. Like everybody should be aware that even with these like pro-consumer or more pro-consumer choices that Asha's making, it is still a giga corporation. I mean, it still is about making money, full stop, at the end of the day. Like that is still what this is all about. But she's taking the right steps and the right moves. And I think the one thing that's very, very clear is that for the last like 5 years, it became much less about building out Xbox, the brand, and the brand became an afterthought. And it became more about trying to extract value from the brand they felt was built up enough. And so I don't know to what extent that was Phil's doing or Sarah's doing, or if it was just Satya demanding that they needed to get revenue up or what it was. It was probably a mixture of all of it, but it does seem like since Asha's come in, she's at least gained the leeway to do what she needs to do to make this, to refocus on the brand, Even something as simple as "We Are Xbox" a year ago, they wouldn't have posted that. It would have been "We Are Microsoft Gaming" with Copilot Plus, Extended Premium Plus. Because everyone wants that. You know, it was just absolute insanity. Microsoft originally switched to Microsoft Gaming at the same time it announced plans to acquire Activision Blizzard in 2022. Phil Spencer was promoted to Microsoft Gaming CEO at the time in an effort to further position Microsoft's gaming efforts across Xbox, PC, and mobile, and the cloud. Sharma's decision to return to the Xbox division is part of her promise of a return to Xbox, which increasingly looks like a way to put Xbox fans first and correct some of the previous strategic mistakes. Earlier this week, Sharma reversed a decision to add future Call of Duty titles to Xbox Game Pass and a decision that had originally been debated fiercely inside Microsoft and never made sense. Microsoft has now plastered the return of Xbox slogan on the walls of its Xbox offices this week, along with great games, future of play. This is the same message as Sharma's initial memo to Xbox employees in February, and part of her work to make a mark with big decisions on Game Pass and the Xbox platform. Another thing, I mean, it sounds so simple, like to just focus on the fan base and focus on the brand and build it out. But dude, for years, it has been, the mindset has been that Microsoft could treat the gaming division the way that they treat everything else in the company. It's what I've been saying for years, is that Satya fundamentally does not, or at least did not, understand that you cannot treat gaming the same way you treat Microsoft Windows security updates. It just doesn't work the same. And yet he thought that you could. He thought that seemingly you could just have, your devs that come in, they do the 9 to 5, you lay off 15% of them, you replace them with contracted labor from India, then you cycle them through, you just do the same old. But you cannot do that when you're doing creative endeavors and when you're developing things like video games. It doesn't work. And when you're consumer facing, like if you're working on developing security updates for Windows, those just kind of happen, okay? Like they just happen. When you're trying to create a product in the gaming industry, you are reliant on your fan base, on your customer base. You need those people to be fans and to be passionate about your platform and your products and the teams behind them. You need morale to be good for people to be able to do their best work. And that was just not even a consideration, seemingly, for the last 5 years. Like, it's just absolutely insane that they did not understand that, but they just didn't. They just didn't. For years and years and years. And now Asha comes in and it's like, no, we need to actually like build out the brand and focus on it. But anyway, where else? Yeah, the new Xbox logo also has started to appear on Microsoft's campus this week ahead of the Xbox showcase this June. It's a lot less flat than the current logo with Glass Effects. I understand Microsoft has also been using this new logo in some of its internal Project Helix materials. This is again the same one I showed you previously. This is also being showcased, like translucency glass, moving away from like the very flat corpo, overly clean thing. It takes me back, like, okay, honest question in both chats. I want to honest question and feedback. Now we've had a few years to settle on it. So I want to hear from Twitch and YouTube. Honest question. Which design did you like more for consoles this generation? Did you like the boldness of the PlayStation 5 and the fact that it looks like a melted toaster oven? Or did you like how clean the Xbox was in the fact that it looked like a refrigerator from Best Buy? PlayStation, Series X, PlayStation. I like the old prices more though. Fair. Here's what I'll say, okay? Because I will say that I appreciate both for different reasons. I like how the Xbox is just really clean. You can set it in your media center and it just kind of disappears in there. I like how clean that is. I love that Xbox's storage upgrades were really clean. Now it's really difficult to just cleanly upgrade the storage on it, whereas like the PS5's M.2 SSD ended up being long-term, I think, a much better solution. But when we come to just the basic design of the console, what I appreciated about the PS5 was how bold it was. Like, I remember first seeing it, I was like, really? That's what they're doing? But I think at the end of the day, the whole point was they were trying to make a console that was also like a showpiece. It was awkwardly shaped, so you had to put it on the stand, which means it took a major spot in your setup. Like, you couldn't just shove this down in the media center where it would disappear. No, it had to be presented. It had to have its own space, And they were very proud of that. It is objectively like a really awkward shape and design, and it's just freaking weird. But that was intentional, I think, because they wanted it to stand on its own. Forgive the pun. Audacious. Yeah, maybe audacious is the word. Whereas like the Xbox is super, super clean. So I appreciate both for different reasons. But the one thing about the PS5 is that it is unapologetic in being bold and just nobody's mistaking this, for just a standard DVD player. You see the PS5, you know exactly what the hell it is. And this is like a gaming device. You know what it is. Whereas the Xbox just kind of disappears, or the Series S just disappears. And I think that that's also why I really like these rebrands of the logo, because gaming is gaming. Like, you don't need to shy away from it. You shouldn't be ashamed of it. You should double down on it. The original Xbox was like unapologetic in its original branding, and it was also very much a product of whatever that was, 2000. When did the official launch? When was the official launch of the original Xbox? 2001. Yeah, like it was very 2001 in its presentation. You know, it's just crazy and bold. They're like, yeah, it's an X. Yeah, X box. It's a box shaped like an X. You know, they just went on with it. They didn't care. But I respect the hell out of that. Big chunky controller. Look at that thing. Looks like a bagel you squeezed into that shape. She dummy thick, man. She dummy thick. Yeah, with the rock. Yeah, weighed 35 pounds. Yeah, I appreciate the boldness. And I kind of hope for the next gen, it's bold. It's bold. And just insane. Dude, do you remember like those old Xbox 720 leaks? Quote unquote leaks? Dude, some of these are insane. This one. I remember seeing this one go around. This. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. The big X. No joke, unironically, if they did this, I'd be here for it. I'd buy this in a heartbeat, dude. I'd be so excited for that. I greatly prefer this than just a black rectangle or refrigerator. You know, like do something crazy. Do something bold. This is boring. This makes me sad. This, you better believe everybody that gets one of those is going to find a way to present it in their setup so their friends can see it, you know? It's going to be, yeah, Xbox 1080. Dude, it would be really funny if they went back. Imagine if Project Helix, they actually name it the Xbox 720. That would actually be really funny. And it may actually do enough to like kickstart nostalgia. That actually might be a brilliant marketing move. Can you imagine if they did that? Can you imagine if they call it the Xbox 720? Like, we're back on track, baby. That's free advice. Stein, reach out to me. I got lots of ideas like this. Okay? Okay, just reach out to me. You can DM me. I got lots of Xbox names. Xbox 2. That's easy to understand. Xbox 720. Yeah, but it only runs games in 720p. Translucent green plastic. Dude, I want to go back to the age of translucent plastic where we can see the insides of our computers. I know maybe that makes me feel like I'm just the ultimate 2000s baby, but bro, like what was that Mac that was like translucent you could see inside? Was it just the iMacs? There's also the Cube one. The G4 Cube. Yeah, dude, like some of these are freaking cool, dude. These are cool. Like, I want to see inside my electronics. I think that's awesome. These iMacs where you could see inside of it, it ignited like a love for electronics to see inside and see how they worked. I loved it, but they don't do that anymore. I want to go back to that. Give me translucent computers. Oh, I had the purple. Dude, that's awesome. The G4, yeah. Dude, it's fire. I have one of these in my garage, actually. One of, not the cubes. It's like this color iMac. It's like this color. I found it. Where did we even get it? I think I got it at like a yard sale. Somebody was selling it. They had all of the original accessories, the original like box and keyboard and mouse that was like actual circular disc. And yeah, they had the original receipts in it too, so you could see how much they paid for like, you know, a 20 gigabyte hard drive, which was very expensive at the time. Yeah, I still have it up there. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm ever going to do with it, but yeah, I do still have one of those up there. Anyway, yeah, the files are inside the computer. It makes me think of Zoolander as well. But all of this to say, there's a real energy within Xbox. This logo, I love it. I hope they continue doubling down on that. Be unapologetic in it. This is a post that they made yesterday. So you can see they go through, we started with simple idea. Games should bring people together through shared experiences. That led the first Xbox in 2001, Xbox Live in 2002, and new ways to connect, from friends list and achievements to play or to parties and play across devices. Today, Xbox reaches over 500 million players around the world with some of the most important franchises in entertainment. From the beginning, Xbox was built by people trying or willing to try things that others wouldn't. We placed a consumer bet inside an enterprise company because we believed in gaming and that it would define the living room, and we were at risk of missing it. That spirit has carried us through the last 25 years.
Tunes Official donated 22 euros through Super Chat.
Thank you, very generous.
I have a producer brain and overanalyze any sound I hear. I made a post about some odd audio effects in combat in Black Flag. Can you take a look and see if I'm crazy, or do you agree? I tagged you.
I tagged you and sent it to you as well. Oh, like on X you tagged me? I don't see it. Can you tag me again? I don't have any notifications on it. I don't have any notifications on it. Tag me again. Tag me again. Because I don't see it. I don't see it. So try tagging me again. Thank you for the very generous 22. Appreciate you. But yeah, tag me again. I don't see it. We'll circle back to that and I'll let you tag it. Finishing this out real quick. We have work to do. Players are frustrated. Bro, can you imagine like Sarah Bond getting on stage and like, or sending out a letter being like, players are frustrated. It was what kind of frustrated me. It's part of the problem for the last 2 years was like all Xbox gamers were really perturbed with how things were going. And you know how like a lot of companies will just pretend like there's nothing wrong. They'll just pretend like everything is great and that you are just like, it's a you problem, which is really, really annoying when like everybody's pissed and you're just like, no, everything's great. It drives me crazy. But that's how they've been treating it. But like Asha is actually coming out and saying, no, players are frustrated. The new feature drops on console have been less frequent. Our presence on PC isn't strong enough. Pricing is getting harder for people to keep up with. And core experiences like search, discovery, social, and personalization still feel too fragmented. Developers and publishers are asking for more too. Better tools, better insights, and a platform that helps them grow faster. At the same time, a new generation of players is coming online with different expectations. Their time is split across games, media, and everything else competing for attention. They expect more content in familiar places, want to shape the worlds they play in, and want to create and socialize together, not just play together. These changes are happening as the industry reshapes around us. Console remains large and stable. Windows now represents more players and more hours and is increasingly where competition is most intense. Players have access to more games than ever, even as the cost and time to build blockbuster titles continues to rise, putting pressure on what gets made and how risk is taken. Some of the biggest recent hits are coming from small teams or even single creators, and places like Roblox are producing experiences that rival major franchises in scale. More players also are choosing subscriptions and services as their primary way to play, with expectations set around instant access, ongoing value, libraries that evolve continuously. The industry is becoming global and competitive. More than half of the market's revenue, players, and growth are happening outside of our core markets, but the rest of the world is not just a large market. Developers there are increasingly competing with the most established Western studios, combining scale, speed, and willingness to reinvent genres many once considered mature. That's basically Crimson Desert in a nutshell. The model that got us here won't be the one that takes us forward. Again, we've said it before, we'll say it again. What they were doing was not working. And if what you've been doing is not working, you got to change it. It's like when I'm at the gym, one of the coaches, Chad, shout out Chad. He goes, tag you again. Hopefully you can see it now. I'll double check. Chad always yells when we're on the treadmill. He always yells, if all you ever give is what you've always given, all you'll ever get is what you've always gotten, which is a tautology, but it is true. It is true. If all you do is what you've been doing, you'll only ever get what you've been getting. You'll never get anything new. And if what you're doing right now is failing, you're just going to keep failing if you refuse to make changes. It's the same thing. Like if all you eat, and honestly, I get it, if all you ever eat is Arby's, You are objectively happier than me. That is true, because I wish I could eat Arby's every day. But you probably are struggling with your weight and that Arby's effect where like your skin starts to feel like roast beef because it seeps out of your pores. If you're from Europe, you don't understand what I'm talking about. But if you're American, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so if all you ever do is that, it'll just keep happening.
5,498 donated $20 through Super Chat. Hey Luke, now that we know Black Flag looks good, what are your thoughts on the AC show from Netflix? I really think they should keep the animus stuff low in the beginning for new audiences and stick to the Brotherhood plot.
It's a good question. It's a good question. I have not dug into the AC show enough to really know what they're trying to do. What I do know is that like the 2016 movie was not it. And so I'm more of the mind that if you want to make an AC show or movie work, retell one of the stories that we saw in the games. Like if they did an AC show, but each season was AC1, AC2, they move into AC3, where each season is a new time period with like a new... realistically, you could do it with the OG like Ezio games. You could do it maybe just with Desmond. You just do any game that Desmond's a part of. You could do that because that would be kind of a thread that ties them all together. It gets complicated. Like I don't think you'd be able to do a season with Bayek and then a season with this. They kind of would end up as their own show. But yeah, I'm not sure original Assassin's Creed stories just for the show work very well. But I don't know. I'm not sure what they're doing. So I'd have to dig into it. I'm not super sure. I just checked again, my friend. I am not... Are you tagging me on X? Is that where you're tagging me? Because I'm not seeing any tags. I'm not seeing any tags from you. So I'm not sure where you're tagging me. I guess I should clarify where you're tagging me because I'm not seeing any tags on any audio stuff or anything you're mentioning. Let's see. The meat sweats. Yeah, literally, it's Arby's. So the point is, if all you ever give is what you've always given, all you'll ever get is what you've always got. And I think Xbox finally realizes that what they've been doing isn't working and they got to change it. I'll get through the other super chats in just a second, guys. Just a minute. Xbox will be where the world plays and creates. We will build a global platform that connects players and creators everywhere. Console is the foundation, delivering a premium experience, and cloud brings that experience to any device. You can play where you want, and your game's progress, friends, and identity stay with you across console, PC, mobile, and cloud. Xbox will be built to be affordable, personal, and open. We will offer flexible pricing, so it's easy to get started and keep playing. The experience will adapt to you, letting you customize how you play, helping you find what you'll love, and connecting you with the right people. And we will be open to all creators, from individuals to the largest studios, giving anyone the tools to reach a global audience and keep their games growing over time. Our new North Star will be daily active players. So this is the metric that they care about. Daily active players. What do you think their metric was previously? What do you think their primary goal was? Probably hours played. It had to have been. Game Pass hours played. Daily active spenders. That's good. I think it was probably hours played through Game Pass, which means that you end up doubling down on like the big games, the games that farm hours a lot, and less on getting a wide variety of players in. Because if your goal is daily active players, if the player is only on for an hour, that still works. That still counts towards that metric. But if your primary metric that you're concerned about is hours played daily, then you're only going to really care about the games people are grinding for like 4 or 5 hours at a time. So you're only going to care about like the big live service stuff, which is very different. This is why like your main KPI or key performance indicator is like so crucial, because whatever you decide is going to be your main focus. That dictates so much. Everything cascades from there. Let's see. We will execute this through 4 priorities: hardware, content, experience, and services. Hardware, stabilize Gen 9 as a healthy, high-quality base. Deliver Project Helix to lead in performance and play your console and PC games. This is, you notice it's also not cost, because it's expected to probably be like a $1,200 machine, but with where prices are everywhere right now, it could be a $1,200 console, but one that delivers PC performance you can only get for like $2,000 or $2,500. So it could be like truly top of the industry leading performance for consoles. It's still very expensive, but I think the goal is, with the scale that they're at, because they can mass manufacture them, they should be able to get the cost lower than a comparative or a comparable PC. That's at least, I think, the vision. We'll see how that works. Lead in comfortable personal high performance accessories. Build a strong ecosystem that expands choice and reach. Grow and extend an enduring portfolio of franchises players love. Evolve our 3P partnerships and strengthen our 5-year slate. Expand into China, emerging markets, and mobile first audiences. This one's interesting that it's an actual like core goal. Expand into China. I wonder how they do that. What's their vision for expanding into China? They're going to try to buy up like exclusivity for Black Myth Wukong or something. That would be funny, especially because Black Myth Wu Chang, whatever the next one is, Black Myth Wukong couldn't run on the Series S. So that would be fascinating reversal. Maintain and grow in live games and long-term stewardship. Elevate creator-centric platforms like Minecraft, The Elder Scrolls, and Sea of Thieves. What? Why does she say The Elder Scrolls? Minecraft, The Elder Scrolls, and Sea of Thieves. I mean, surely she means Elder Scrolls Online. But it's still, I would think that like if your goal, maybe, I don't know, is ESO bigger than like Fallout 76? Yeah, Series S can run it now. Yeah, at launch it couldn't. They had lots of trouble with it apparently. Is it bigger? Yeah, you guys are saying yeah, it's bigger than Fallout 76. I'm also surprised they didn't mention like WoW or anything. But maybe they put WoW less creator centric and more like live games, because that's not really creator content like Minecraft is. I just find that interesting. I find that it hits my brain weird. Anyway, let's see. Fix the fundamentals with players and partners. Make Xbox the best place for developers and creators to build and grow. Overall discovery, customization, social, and personalization to connect the community. Fortify Game Pass with clear differentiation and sustainable economics. Return the business to durable growth and strong cost discipline. Make cloud play feel native, fast, reliable across TVs and low-cost devices. I will say this is possible. I have been using a lot of GeForce now. Oh my god, why is it doing that? Which face is it locking onto? I'm trying to see in the camera what it's trying to lock onto. One time I had Todd, like the candle over here, and the camera kept trying to focus on Todd's face. Today, I don't know what the deal is, because sometimes when I have the cardboard cutout back there, it'll also focus on Todd's face, which is kind of funny. But I don't know what's doing it today. Maybe it is the statue, but the statue, it hasn't been giving it problems recently. It's the ghost, yeah, I guess. But GeForce Now, what I was saying, GeForce Now is really, really good. It's really, really well done. xCloud, I have not had the same success with, but it's possible that they could get it there. But GeForce Now, I think, is the GOAT right now. Use M&A deliberately to accelerate growth where organic paths are too slow. So M&A is mergers and acquisition. So she's opening the door to further purchases of studios and things like that. The one that's going to be the hardest of all of these bullet points, I think, is China. And that's where maybe this comes in. The problem is China do not like Westerners going in and buying like their companies and their assets, they like coming into Western markets and buying up those, as we've seen with like Tencent. They don't really like Western companies coming in and buying up their stuff. So I don't know how that'll work, but if anybody can figure it out, it's Microsoft. Along the way, we will reevaluate our approach to exclusivity. Along the way, we will reevaluate our approach to exclusivity, windowing, which is like exclusivity windows. So like the game launches on Xbox, is exclusive for 6 months, and then goes to PS5. So they're reevaluating exclusivity, windowing, and AI, and we'll share more as we decide. So they're willing to like look at everything. Like everything. Okay. To be clear, this doesn't mean that they're going to change anything, but they are saying that they are evaluating it. They're open to it. To achieve our master plan, the way we work must transform. Our best work happens when the full stack moves together. Microsoft Gaming describes our structure, but it does not describe our ambition. So we are going back to where we started and changing our team's name. We are Xbox. We are a high agency culture where wild and wonderful ideas thrive. Our job is not to smooth over our differences, but to connect everyone into something greater than any one studio or product. We have to be honest about where we are. We're a challenger, and meeting this moment will require pace, energy, and a level of self-critique that should feel uncomfortable. At our best, we earn every player, protect our art, stay rebellious, progress over perfection, signal over ceremony, core before more, outwork the problem, speed is learning, makers over managers. That is like the anti-Microsoft thing right there. Clarity is kindness. Over the last 5 years, Xbox and the industry have been through an unimaginable amount of change, and this team has continued to deliver through it for our community. Thank you for staying focused on what matters. 62 days in, we're proud of how we've honored our commitments of great games, Return of Xbox, and Future of Play. We're here to do the most creative and courageous work of our lives, and that's what we'll do together. With gratitude, Matt and Asha. I will say, I think she's saying all the right stuff. Again, actions speak louder than words. Actions that they've taken so far are good. Things like the cost cuts or price cuts. Things like the overhauls to Xbox's customization options for players so that they can like tweak how their console dashboard looks, things people have been asking for years that they just now are getting. So things like that are all good moves, but of course it's going to take time before people really see the fruit of the labor and see what this direction actually is like. But I will say right now there's an energy. Like I said, this is a level of excitement we've not seen for Xbox in a very, very, very long time, and they still have a lot of work to do, but I think at the very least there's, as you mentioned at the top of this, there's a little bit of hope, which is kind of refreshing. Yeah, it shifted. Now we are all the Xbox. We are the Xbox. And like I said at the very beginning of all of this, if I was PlayStation, I would not take this lightly. What happened when PlayStation got really cocky and thought that they had it made in the aftermath of the PS2, which was dominant? They got really cocky. They announced a really expensive console with the PS3, and they couldn't really compete with Xbox's energy and pace, and they came out with the 360 swinging, and Xbox killed it that generation. And then it flipped the other way with the frickin' Xbox One, where Xbox got really overconfident, and then they got really full of themselves and made a bunch of mistakes. And then PlayStation was hungry and had a lot of energy and came in and killed it with the PS4 gen. Then the PS5 gen has been just weird, and like Xbox has been floundering, PlayStation's been floundering, like it's just been bizarre to watch. But now there's energy. And I would not rest on your laurels, PlayStation. Xbox is too damaged. Dude, people said that back in like 2006. Did you see how many units the PS2 sold? There's no way the 360 stands a chance. You might as well shut it down. Then it did tremendously well. Things can move quickly. Things can move really, really quickly if they come in and try. It's just, again, it really feels like Xbox hasn't tried in like 5 years, which is not actually that far out of the range of possibility. It's crazy. I saw that one, North from Mars, the question about an upscaler for Xbox like PSSR. Well, what they use is basically just FSR, which is similar to what PSSR uses. So they'll probably have some tool that's similar, but I don't know if they'll brand it specifically, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, what every gamer should be hoping is for a healthy PlayStation, a healthy Xbox, healthy Nintendo, healthy Steam. Like, the more competition there is, the better for everybody. That's what's best for everybody. And so if we actually see them starting to do well, it could really shake up the industry in a good way. We just have to see. Okay. I will catch up on super chats just real quick. Ashton tagged me in this one too. Is this good? In case you missed it, Benoit Richer, the director of AC Hexe, or one of them, has left Ubisoft and will be joining Servo Games as game director. To put this, my understanding is that Jean Guidon, the creative director for Black Flag, creative director for AC Origins, he left Ubisoft for a bit, just came back, is now in charge of the franchise. He has basically taken over the director position for Hexa. So my understanding is that this caused like a bit of drama prior to this departure. I'm blanking on his name. The other guy who was the game director for Watch Dogs Legion was in charge of Hexa, and then he left shortly after Jean came on. So I think it's more that they're giving the keys to the car to the guy that has previously won the Daytona 500 or whatever. I don't know NASCAR, but like they've given the keys to the guy that has demonstrated he really, really, really knows what he's doing. And that's caused some of the people that were in charge to be frustrated. And so they head out, they leave and go somewhere else where they can be the big dog again. But I would not be concerned about this. Like I'm sure Benoit did good work, and I'm sure the other guy did too. It's just, I think at this point, Ubisoft would rather give all the power to the guy that has shown he really knows what he's doing than like risk it. Dude, what is with this? What is it locking onto? What is it locking onto? Come on, face. Bro. The camera is struggling. I might have to turn it off and back on. It is just like, I don't know what it's trying to focus on. It's just broadly, it thinks there's like a face right here. That's weird. Dude, there's a ghost. It thinks there's a ghost or a face like in the books. Todd's ghost is here. Yeah, it's a little weird because I just saw it. When the camera's trying to focus, it puts like the white box around it, and it keeps thinking there's like a face right there. I don't know, man. It's a little weird. Ghost on the shelf. Yeah. Hey, Ghost, if you could give me like a back rub while I'm sitting here, that'd be great. If you're going to be down here causing a ruckus, at least be useful. Let's see. I read that one. Guts of Rivia, thank you for that super chat. Black Flag aged just fine. I'm kind of tired of all these remakes of games that aged well. I will tell you, having replayed Black Flag recently, I will agree to disagree. Black Flag, I still love, and it, of course, it's. I have a lot of bias towards it, but I think it will really benefit from the remake treatment. Whereas like, you know, The Last of Us Part 2 does not need a remake. It's totally fine. But the original game had all sorts of technical limitations that held it back from reaching its full potential. And so I think seeing it now is like, it's going to be good. It looked aged. It looked like a 360 game because that's what it was. And it's other things like the controls, the load screens all over the place. Those always were kind of in the way. And these overhauls are going to just make it better. Mr. Deadpool Gaming, thank you for the 5. Any thoughts on the new Might and Magic? Grew up playing it with my dad. Curious if it's going to be good. I've not really dug into it, honestly. I've not really looked into it, but I think it could be interesting if they come back swinging. But yeah, I haven't really dug into them yet. I do have a friend who's really into those old school ones, though. So I'll have to dig into it. Hype Not IQ, thank you for the 5. IGN be like too many detective mice. Sorrows, 6 out of 10. Too cheesy and repetitive. Dude, you say that like jokingly, but basically, that's basically where they're at. Analog AI, thank you for that. IGN FH6 review. Forza Horizon 6 review. 6 out of 10. Too much Japan and cars. I mean, dude, literally, that's the level they're complaining about nowadays. Normac. Oops, it scrolled. Oh God. My computer's going to crash. It's like freaking out. Okay. Where'd it go? Jeez, you guys super chatted a lot. I'm going to have to blast through these really quick. Thank you for this. This is very generous of you. It's like literally clogging up my browser. It's like stuttering. Helldivers 2 community is furious with Arrowhead for pay to fix scheme with paid content updates. Pretty sore topic for veteran player base. Tired boss. I've heard about these problems. I haven't dug into it. I haven't gone back to Helldivers 2 since the last like major overhaul update, but I'll have to look back in it because I've heard a lot of people talk about the problems with it. That they're getting to the point where it's really, really straining the fan base. C. Calderiac, I think. Thank you for the 2. We have Windrose. We don't need Black Flag Remake. They are very, very different games. Like, very. I like Windrose. It is nothing like Black Flag, like at all. It is a very, very different kind of game. So if you like Windrose, that's awesome. But if you've never played Black Flag and you think Windrose is a replacement, they are very different games. Gamer Engineers, thank you for that. People says Ubi is afraid of saying remake for AC Black Flag, but they also say it at least 7 times. I don't understand people's overhate. Yeah, dude, there's also people that were saying that like the sky looked too vivid and blue. Like I saw one person say that. I saw one person say that they thought that the trees being more dense, like the foliage being more dense, took them out of the experience, because when they play a video game, they want it to feel like a video game. I was like, okay, so if you're just gonna be miserable, just go be miserable. I don't care. Like, cool, thumbs up, have fun, cool. It's like we get that every once in a while. Somebody comes into chat and they're like, so this game everybody likes, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is boring. And you're like, okay, cool, buddy. Do you want an award or like, cool. Like, what do you want me to say? What do you want from me? Let's see. Garrett, thank you for the 5. One last thing I saw somewhere was GTA 6 will be locked at 30 FPS for consoles. Do you know anything about performance? I don't know anything firsthand about performance. People way smarter than me have said that it's very, very unlikely that it runs anywhere above like 40 FPS max on a Pro. Realistically, it's almost certainly going to be locked at 30. I don't have any like secret info. I don't know, like nobody's told me what it's going to run like, but I did a poll earlier. Yeah, like based if GTA 6 is locked at 30 FPS across all consoles, are you just as likely to buy day one? 53% of you said yeah, you'd be just as likely. 6% said less likely. 14% said not buying day one. This would have also included people who were never going to buy it, but still. And then 26% said they would wait for the PC port. So That's where at least the community is landing after a couple of hours of the voting. But yeah, I don't have any like info or reporting, but it's my understanding that it's very, very unlikely it will run above 30 for most consoles. What's your opinion of the new Black Flag Collector's Edition statue? I think it looks really good. I believe it's coming from Pure Arts, and Pure Arts does really good models. They do really, really good work. So I'm excited for it. I think it looks really good. As you can tell, I like Black Flag statues and artwork, so I'm here for it. Let's see. Blackthorn, thank you for the 2. Do you think Rockstar could get GTA 6 on Switch 2? Reporting says they've been testing it. Who knows if that means it launches there or if it launches like a year later on Switch 2. I don't know. But rumors have it that they are testing it. So we'll see. I would not be surprised. I would guess that it probably comes like before PC, it'll come to Switch 2. I wouldn't be surprised about that. I think if they're going to put priority, I think they might prioritize the Switch 2 port first. Because I think Nintendo will throw stupid money at them to get that. Just being real. PC will be a big, chunk of change, but I think getting a PC port working and polished is a lot more work than a Switch 2 port. Switch 2, you just got one piece of hardware to worry about. Like PC port, bro, that's a headache. I can only imagine. So, yeah, I think it's actually quite likely we'll see it eventually. Bob by Blood, thank you for the 5. AC Black Flag combat has been gutted. No hidden blade combat, no unarmed combat, no picking up weapons, no disarm of weapons, and no tool finishers. Gone. Sad. My understanding is the dedicated use of hidden blades as a weapon is not there. They've reintegrated the hidden blade into finishers, but it's not like a standalone weapon set. That's my understanding. So there is hidden blade combat, but not in the way that it was in the base game. As for unarmed combat, I haven't heard anything about that. Picking up weapons, I haven't heard anything about that. Disarm of weapons, haven't heard anything about disarm animations. And tool finishers, I guess it depends on what you mean by tool finishers. Because you can still use your tools, and they showed multiple instances of like rope dart finishers and stuff. So I'm not sure what that's referring to, but anyway. William, thank you for the super chat. Hi, trying to get my girlfriend into story-driven games. What games do you recommend for her to start with? Watch you all the time. Love from Sweden. Thank you, my friend. The easiest one to recommend. It Takes Two. It Takes Two. Fantastic couples game, story driven. It is story slop. Get out of here. It's really, really fun. It's very approachable. It's fantastic. So I would recommend It Takes Two to begin with, and then go from there, because maybe you guys will love doing co-op stuff. Maybe you will want to move in and try like Split Fiction after that, or maybe you'll want to try something else that's more single player, have her try that. But yeah, It Takes Two, if you're trying to get people into story-based games, that's a great way to do it, because you can experience it together and then go from there. And it's on like every platform too. Dispatch, yeah, Dispatch also very good when it comes to like story-driven games. Yes. Dispatch is another easy recommend. Very, very good. Absolutely. Let's see. Lone Wolf, thank you for the 5. Hey, Luke, I just pre-ordered Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Can't wait. Glad to hear, my friend. I think it's gonna be cool. North from Mars, thank you for that one. Quick Resume isn't appreciated well enough, man. Yeah, I mean, Quick Resume is really, really cool. And now they've allowed you to toggle it, so you can choose which games do it and which games don't, which is also a cool upgrade that I'm amazed wasn't there before. But yeah, Quick Resume is pretty goated too. Not Locked, thank you for the 5. Working at Best Buy, watching Luke on company time. So here's a shout out from former Best Buy brother, also excited for Black Flag. Much love, Not Lock, and I wish you the best, because I have been there, done that. You got this, my friend. Mad respect to all of our friends, brothers and sisters in retail. You're doing good work, and we appreciate your sacrifice. You got this. Alex, thank you for the 10. Hey, Luke, you think all of this is just marketing for Microsoft to make Xbox Series X more appealing to fans who want to play GTA 6 on the Xbox rather than PS5? I mean, I guess you could say anything is marketing to try and convince people to like your company more. Like, if they cut the price of the Series X by $100, is that just marketing to get people to like it and buy it? I guess, yeah. But does it matter? Like, at the end of the day, is the result, if the result is the same, does the motivation really matter? Like, because you can't know the motivation fully. So all you can see is the result of the action. And so does it really matter? It's the same thing like when somebody volunteers. It's not exactly the same thing. It's similar to when somebody like volunteers at a soup kitchen and it's like, wow, that is a good deed. It's like, yeah, well, you just did that because it makes you feel better about yourself. Okay, but I still, like, they still volunteered at a soup kitchen. So even if it was selfish, does that matter? You know, even if it had a secondary motive, does that actually matter if the result is the same, if the result is still good? You know, like if Microsoft is just doing all of this as a grand ploy to win back fan favor, which I'm sure is part of the consideration, like, who cares? At the end of the day, we're still doing well. You know, we're still better than we did. You know? So anyway, it's selfish if you brag about it too much. Yeah, well, as you guys, some of you guys might know, when at my high school to graduate, we had to write a senior thesis, which was a 25,000 word essay on what is essential to the good life. And my thesis was all about altruism and being selfless. But one of the philosophical problems you run into is if somebody is being selfless and doing selfless things because they know it will make their life better, it'll make them feel happy, it'll make them feel fulfilled, if it'll make them feel righteous or moral, is that actually good? Because it's being done for a selfish reason. And ultimately, like, where we settled on after reading a lot of philosophers and trying to figure it out, we basically landed in the spot that, like, you can't, like, the motivation and the action are two separate things, and it's kind of a gradient. Everybody, I think, would agree that it's more noble to donate $1,000 to charity and tell no one. Do it anonymously. That's more noble than donating it with your name attached to it so you get public attention, right? But then again, what if you're somebody that prefers, like, doesn't like attention? And what if you're somebody that prefers that feeling of, I'm more noble because I did this in secret? And so you're doing it again for a selfish reason, because you're like, I'm doing this because it's more moral to do it anonymously. It's still performative in a way. It's still selfish in a way. So ultimately you just get to a spot where you're like, I don't think it matters. It's not worth the headache. If you do a good deed, it's a good deed. You know, it's like at some point you're just going to drive yourself crazy spinning in circles. So you just got to settle on the deed is the deed. So whether Microsoft is doing this for some super sneaky backdoor way of convincing people that they're actually good when they're not, they're still making good choices. You know, they're still making good choices. Unless you're doing it for clicks. Well, it's literally the Mr. Beast thing where it's like, okay, you're building wells in Africa to give people free drinking water and clean drinking water. That's amazing. But then people get weird because he's filming it and turning it into videos that generate money to go and build more wells and all this stuff. And at some point you just have to be like, okay, but he's building wells and giving people drinking water. Like, shut up. You know, at some point it's like, he's doing good work. He's helping people. Sure, there's second and third considerations and reasons why this is a win-win-win-win-win for everybody involved, like free PR, free marketing, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, he's helping people. Cool. You know, like at some point you just gotta stop spinning. Let's see. Mr. H, thank you for that. Michael Jackson movie is an 8 out of 10. Fire. I have not seen it yet. I think my brothers were going to go see it. I've not seen it yet. So I don't know. The Elitist Savage, thank you for the 5. The Chrome X was the prototype of the original Xbox that they have at Microsoft, I think, on display. Oh, that's cool. I love seeing those like prototype things. I think it's super cool. Multi-good kid, thank you for the super chat. I'm worried about it. Project Helix, even though Ashe is pretty great so far, Helix was a project originally led by Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond. True, I think it's way too late for her to really fundamentally do anything differently, but she will have the direction of like marketing approach. She will have the ability to handle pricing and everything. So she does have some sway, but I agree. The hardware and everything is pretty well locked in. It's above, or it's past her, you know, so I don't really know. IGN gave it a 3. Oh God. So it's probably really good. Oh boy. Too much cheese. Let's see. DJ Tunes, thank you for the 22 again for that. That was very generous. I just checked again. I'm not seeing any tags come in. So I'm not sure where you're tagging me. You said you sent it as a message or something. Maybe send it to like our press email or our manager email, or like on Discord or something. We could do it that way. Because for some reason it's just not popping up. Maybe X has you like shadow banned or something. I don't know. Arkham Vigilante, thank you for the 20. Luke, now that we know, oh, that's the one about the Netflix show. Yes, thank you for that one. We did talk about that. William, thank you for that super chat. I'm trying to get my girlfriend into story-driven games. She tried Red Dead 2, couldn't get far. Watch your content all the time. Love from Sweden. Yes, thank you again for that. And did you send the same message twice? I feel bad if you did that. But yes, I recommend It Takes Two. Easy W. Easy W. And it's really good for couples too. It's really good. Let's see. Nate, thank you for that super chat. Where do I find the time? Haha, busy juggling being a medieval knight while being a space dad and PI on the side. Soon to be vigilante and British spy. Then going to sea again. This is typically the dead zone of gaming backlog. Yeah, dude, it's been a pretty busy year. Pretty busy year. But what's fascinating is a pretty busy year. Even though I think a lot of people went into the year not expecting a lot of these games to pop off the way that they did, you know, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It's a good time. Good time to be a gamer. Would you check this out? It's a good use of AI. Fake trailer from About Alan from Reacher was a teaser, and then the guy made a full 2-minute trailer. Taylor, Chi, and Alan wouldn't let me send a link. Alan from Reacher was a teaser, and then the guy made a full 2-minute. Try tagging me on X. Try tagging it to me on X, and then I can pull it up, because I'm not sure what I'm supposed to search. But yeah, I'm not sure. Thank you for the super chat. Just tag me on X, and I can look at it. Toenail, thank you for the 5. My wife said you look like you lost weight. She doesn't say that to me. Oh boy. I think you look great, Toenail. I think you look great. So, you know, just because your wife and I have this connection doesn't mean that you should feel weird about it. But, you know, if I appreciate you saying that, have lost a bit of weight. I appreciate that. And, you know, feel free to tell her, hey, what's up? Okay. Don't make it weird, Luke. I didn't make it weird. Okay. It was weird to begin with. Okay. I'm just here. I'm vibing. Hold on. I'm just chilling. I'm chilling. Okay. I'm chilling. RPG Veteran, thank you for that. Luke, I pre-ordered 007 AC4 Remake and Saros. Am I crazy? And I don't think so. It sounds like you're about to have a lot of fun. 007 looks awesome. AC4 Remake looks really good. Saros is baller. Yeah. We'll talk about Saros more in just a second. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're in for a good time. Almost there, guys. Then we'll talk about Saros reviews, because they're stupid, or one of them is really stupid. I should clarify. Shocker, one of them is really dumb. Where did the tag go? I tagged it somewhere. And then Saros reviews. That's what I needed. Oh, dude, and we apparently have an update on Fair Game $. There was apparently another playtest. Interesting. Okay, almost there, guys. Almost there. I gotta blast through these before it gets too late. Brennan, thank you for the 10. Can we get a studio tour at some point? I'd love to see your setup, Legos, collectibles. A short video would be awesome. Love you, Lukey. Yeah, I've done them occasionally. We do one maybe once a year where we'll like walk through and show everything as things change and shift and move around. I don't know when the last one we did was, but we could do another one. That'd be fun. That'd be just fine. Just fine now. Look here, look, listen. Listen now. Yeah, Jacob working overtime for the stream highlights, dude, literally. Obi-Wan, thank you for the 10. Hey Luke, I'll tag I'll tag onto the audio guy's message. AC games all use half quality audio, so everything sounds terrible. I put a short video and share a link demonstrating it's an Anvil engine problem. Oh. So maybe this is something we could do a whole segment on. The quote is from a forum complaint about AC Valhalla. This is what Ubisoft came out and said back in January. After a thorough investigation, the development team will not be able to resolve these audio issues. Resolution of this issue will require an overhaul of the entire audio system from the ground up and is not feasible. We recommend enabling subtitles to aid comprehension of dialogue. That's not the kind of thing you want to hear.
I'm going to play a sound from Assassin's Creed Odyssey in both high quality and low quality. This comparison should very clearly highlight the issue.
Okay.
First example, in 48,000 Hertz, high quality. Second example, in 24,000 Hertz, low quality.
Yeah, without a doubt, 48K sounds way better. But also, this is what I learned selling TVs. The vast majority of players and people with TVs and entertainment systems, they tend to listen to their content using the built-in TV speakers. Yeah, probably over the stream, you might not be able to tell. If you look up the video, you can hear it directly. But I think the vast majority of people are like playing games with like The Office on their tablet on the side. Like I used to sell premium like Bowers and Wilkins speakers to people. And dude, we would have these demos where we would show what were clearly like night and day differences in high quality audio versus low quality audio. And these are demos designed to make them want to buy the expensive thing, right? They're demos designed to make you go, oh, that sounds so much better. And bro, like 90% of the time, if you just brought somebody in there to do a test, they'd be like, I don't know what the difference is. I can't hear a difference. Which honestly, if you can't tell the difference between these two, savor that, appreciate it, okay? Your life will be so much easier. So much easier. I know there's people watching this stream right now who are like, I use built-in TV speakers. That's okay. Your life, honestly, you're going to be more fulfilled than me. Okay. The audio, high quality audio is one of those things everybody like that gets into it knows that it is a recipe for going broke. Okay. If you can avoid tasting the forbidden fruit that is high quality audio, avoid it. Like I love high quality audio equipment. I'm a bit of a bougie person when it comes to that, but yeah, if you can avoid tasting the forbidden fruit, you should probably avoid it because it'll kill you. Audio, there is really no ceiling on spending when it comes to high quality audio. Everything is just stupid expensive. Thank you for tagging me, Obi-Wan. That's very interesting. And a very clear example too. Very clear example. Where did I leave off? D-Tunes, tag you again. Hopefully it works. If you don't see a search D-Tunes, D-Tunes 5, then you'll find my profile in the post itself. Yeah, it's we can dig into that because that could be an interesting deep dive, the audio comparisons. That could be very interesting. I will circle back. We'll circle back, okay. Uno momento. Let's see. Oh my God, the browser is like freaking out, dude. In God We Trust, thank you for the 5. Hey Luke, love the content. Man, was wondering if you'd be interested in a studio tour on one of your slower days. Oh yeah. I'm fine with doing a studio tour. We just have to do it. We'll probably film it. I might have Jacob come over and film it with a nice camera and everything. That could work better than me trying to like vlog it. Wallet the Great, thank you for the super chat. How long do you think it'll take for Sony to realize that their bread and butter is single player story driven games? I think it'll take a few more oopsies, a few more crashes and burns, which we may be able to talk about in just a second because there's a brand new breaking news article on Fair Games. We'll get there just a second. 2K, thank you for the 5. Hey Luke, how do you feel about the new PS6 buttonless design? Do you think players would stay away from it? Sounds expensive. I have not heard about a buttonless design for it, but it sounds kind of like reinventing the wheel a little bit. But I'm not sure. Pelex, thank you for the 10. Pre-ordered AC Black Flag Resync Collector's Edition on Amazon right after the reveal yesterday. Went back this morning just to see if it was still available for a friend. No dice. Dude, really? It sold out already? That's crazy. Yeah, people are pretty stoked and hype. I heard through the grapevine that like it broke every metric they expected it to break. Like they were expecting pretty good response and it's like way up there. Like it's blown them away. They were not ready for how stoked people were going to be. Let's see. Vitonese, thank you for the super chat. Luke, thanks for being such an ultra giga chad. What are we thinking about the downfall of our creators? Are they too slow to respond and release content? I think it's that. There's also apparently a major cheater problem, especially on the high skill level areas. So that's a big part of it. It seems to just be the tale of live service games is that I think it's very cyclical. No game is ever going to have like 500. I don't think ever again is going to have 500,000 concurrents for a year straight. Like, I just don't think that that's realistic anymore. So there's going to be dips and dives and dodges, and that's just how it's going to be. Like, they'll go up, they'll go down, and I'm sure Arc Raiders is going to drop down to 100K, and then they'll have a big event, and it explodes again up to 250, and then comes back down, and that's just where we are. The expectation that games need to maintain their launch week numbers is, I think, unrealistic. Let's see. CKF. Hey, Luke, is there any way I can get a manual invite to the Discord? The automatic system still hasn't added me, though Discord and YouTube are linked. It's been about 72 hours or so. Okay, thank you for trying. Yeah, send an email to my management stuff. It's Luke at 28th Ave. You can just send an email there, and a member of my team can get you a link to just brute force your way in. Just send a screenshot proving you're a member so that they know you're not just a random person claiming to be you, but just like send a screenshot showing you're a member. The Quinn Coleman, thank you for the 10, very generous. Which Assassin's Creed should they remake after Black Flag, and what would you change? I would like to see AC2 remade personally. I'm a bit biased, but I would love to see AC2 remade with a lot more seamless exploration and updated parkour and stuff like that. That's my preference, but I just love AC2. I think AC3 would be tougher because AC3 was such like a weird game because it was in the middle of like the old school way of doing AC and the new open world old like style of it. And so it just did a lot of things half-assed. You know, it just wasn't quite where it needed to be on any single system. Like even a lot of the stuff in Black Flag are systems they built for AC3. Like the original fleet simulation thing that they have in Black Flag, that started in AC3. It just was way more bare bones. And so there's a lot of stuff like that where they just were laying the foundation, and then they were able to go, all in the next game. But I think a remake would require them to overhaul all of that and bring it fully up to snuff, which would be tougher. AC2 should be left alone. AC1, AC2, they'd be easy to go back, and I think people would eat it up. Black Flag, I think, was the obvious one to start with, but we'll see. I mean, if this goes really well, you better believe they're going to look at doing it. Let's see. Luke, it's Do a Moonwalk Day. Do one for the gram. How dare you? There's no way there's a day called Do a Moonwalk Day. Like an actual celebration. Okay, I Googled Moonwalk Day and it popped up with, I'm not talking to you, Google. I looked it up and there's apparently a bunch of articles on a woman who made her own spacesuit and then reenacted the moon landing from her home in England. Okay. Okay. Let's see, Mr. Mo, I hate to bring up narrative dissonance in an MJ movie, but this was supposed to be a thriller and it was just a tragedy. IGN probably. Yeah. They'd be like, no, there weren't enough kids in the movie. You know how IGN be. D-Tunes, thank you for the super chat. Emailed you. Hopefully it works. Much love. Thank you, my friend. If you've got a breakdown of it, that could be an interesting segment. So I'll pull it up. We'll look at it. Maybe we tackle that next stream, and that could be interesting. Coultergeist Gaming, thank you for the 5. Luke, I saw you reacted to the 007 Spycraft trailer. Did you react to the opening title sequence First Light? No, we didn't do any formal reaction to it because of copyright. It's kind of an omnipresent headache for doing any sort of reactions. People were like, they thought I was trying not to react to, there was something recently. What was it? They're like, he's not looking at this because he hates it. I was like, no, I just didn't, like, there's no point if it's going to get the stream struck and the clip struck. And then like, if it's got like high quality music or like original music from a recording label, like we just can't do anything with it. On Twitch, you can get away with it. But if you're trying to make clips and stuff, it just doesn't work. M. LeJohn, thank you for, Mo LeJohn, thank you for the 5. Finally catching a stream since I've been deployed. How's it going, Luke? How excited are you for the Black Flag remake? Good to see you, my friend. Glad to have you here. Hopefully you're staying safe and doing well. As for how I'm feeling about the Black Flag remake, I think it looks really good. I'm really excited. Really excited to get into it. I want to play it. I want it now, and I need it. Gimme now. Give me now. Money, please. Money me now, please. Money now, please. And then Slumrubo. Thank you for that. Did you manage to grab a resynced collector's edition sold out everywhere? I did not. Like I said, I was on a plane. So I'm really hoping that Ubisoft can come in clutch and hook a brother up, but we're gonna see, because I did not. So yeah. Real quick, let's look at this, and I want to look at IGN stupidity again. Okay, ready? New mini segment thing. Thank you everybody for the ridiculously generous super chats and everything. Pele over on Twitch also subbed like 2 hours ago. Thank you for that. And then Sarcastico gave 100 bits. And said maybe somebody is paying a YouTuber to sabotage the game. You never know. Maybe that's what's happening here. Let's talk about this real quick. News, thing. So breaking news from Insider Gaming. Last week we talked about Fair Game $, because there was an alleged playtest happening this past weekend, or like in the next like day or two. It wasn't really clear because obviously it's like lockdown. Nobody knows about it except for the few people who are participating. But here we are. There's a report coming from Insider Gaming discussing that very same thing. Fair Game struggles to find the fun in latest pre-alpha playtest. Haven's latest playtest, a pre-alpha version of Fair Games, continues to struggle to find the fun, according to sources familiar Last week, Haven Studios ran, so it's last weekend, ran another playtest under the codename Espresso for Fair Games. But according to those involved, the game is still struggling to find its fun factor and is still a long way to go in development. As mentioned in a previous report, the game mode played was called Cargo Heist, which is essentially an extraction-based experience where you load into a map, loot, break vaults, and then extract. I suppose the only unique thing here is that there's also respawns, which takes away from the high-stakes nature of an extraction shooter. Gameplay sent to Insider Gaming on the condition that it not be made public shows 4 3-player teams looting a giant mansion using a class-based system. The game somewhat resembles The Division or Call of Duty in its graphical style and movement, with elements of grappling and wall running, but the reveal trailer's overly colorful look seems to have been toned down significantly, adopting a more grounded color palette. Fair Games is struggling. It says screenshots of the game's playtest Discord server showed a massive amount of negative player feedback. Ooh, that's not great. So it's the game's playtest Discord where they saw a massive amount. So they had like the playtesters in a Discord, and then they're all like, maybe they had a feedback channel, and then everybody is in the feedback channel, like, just tell us what you thought of today. And then he's saying it's like overwhelmingly negative. Oh, that's awkward. That's awkward. With players criticizing game-defining features like movement, NPCs, the class system, and more. So like literally the game. It's like playing Overwatch and being like, yeah, I just wish there weren't heroes. And I wish it wasn't based on like objectives. You know? It's like, well, that's kind of the whole game. What if Overwatch just didn't have guns? What if we didn't do that? Could we do that? Others who played the game tell Insider Gaming that they either played a few games and stopped, or teammates would leave mid-match and not play again because the game felt incomplete or boring. I wonder how big this playtest was. I wonder. Because they're saying like they were doing a playtest and teammates would just bail. If it was a small playtest, I would imagine they would just like, whoever's organizing the playtest would get on the horn and get those teammates back. You would think. But if they had a problem where teammates, like this reminds me of those like alpha playtests that you might occasionally get into for like Concord, you know, where it's like 500 people across the world are playing. And if somebody leaves your party, like that's just it. That's crazy. It seems that at the very least, Fair Games still has a long way to go in development. And while I never want to write off a game before playing it, I do genuinely wonder what the game plan is here. Marathon has proven to PlayStation that extraction shooters are a niche genre and aren't the next billion-dollar genre to advance its games as a service ambitions. That's without even mentioning 10 Chambers Den of Wolves, which despite starting development in 2021 looks like a far better product and will satisfy that vault cracking itch for many. In a couple thousand concurrent players, is a couple thousand concurrent players enough for PlayStation? I doubt it. I mean, if this is honestly the feedback they're getting, I would be surprised if they hit a couple thousand players. I don't know what, like, this is what we've been saying, is that PlayStation sees something with this. It's possible that there's some sort of like contractual government agreement. Like you remember with Skull and Bones, Ubisoft signed a deal with the Singapore government where they had to release it, even though they wanted to cancel it for sure. They had to release an original IP from that studio within this timeline. Otherwise they would have to pay back all those millions they got from some like creative endeavors grant. So it had to get out the door. And I'm starting to really wonder if something like that is present here, because I don't know what they see in it. Like at some point, if the reporting is true, which maybe it's not, but if the reporting is true, like why would they continue to spend millions? Like what are we missing? Just try to put yourself in the position, like say it's your money on the line. And, you know, remove yourself from being in corporate where we're talking hundreds of millions, make it more reasonable, but still a lot of money. Like imagine if you had somebody working on this and they're like, okay, Luke, now based on this feedback, will you give us another $10,000? Like, will you sell your car and give us the money for that car to finish the game? I don't think I would. based on the feedback I'm seeing in this article. Like, who would continue doubling down on this? Who would put a bunch of money into this? I just don't see it. I don't know. Well, especially like the report was that I think it was last year there was a playtest that feedback was negative, and then the co-founder of the studio, Jade Raymond, left, right? And then I think they did another playtest that they mentioned in the last article earlier this year, and then this playtest that just happened this past weekend. So if after 2 more playtests and further feedback, they still are not figuring it out, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, finding the fun is like a common difficulty in game development. Even though it's like very meme worthy and it's funny to think that like they're making a video game that's supposed to be fun and they can't figure out how to make it fun. But at the end of the day, like, it's just, you start on this game 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. You work on it for years and years and years. Maybe it was fun based on player tastes and standards 6 years ago, but today it's just different. Standards are different and have changed. And my like the piece of this that just has never made sense to me is that this is just one of those games, like, these live service games don't work if you play it for a weekend and then move on. It doesn't work that way. Like, these only work if players are so into it that they play it for months or years. Playing it for a weekend and putting 10 hours into it, then moving on, doesn't work. That might work for an indie team where they got you to pay $10, you got in because their costs were so low. This is, by all accounts, like a pretty big studio in Montreal that costs God knows how many millions to operate monthly. It is a big undertaking, and I get it. It's tough to like tuck your tail between your legs and go home and just cut your losses. But at some point, man, like, the writing's on the wall with it, you know? And I want to keep an open mind. Maybe it does end up being a masterpiece, but when all of the writing and all of the articles and all the leaks are saying that that's not what it is, like, at some point, why would players have confidence in this? I don't think they should. I don't think the team seems to have confidence in it. Raphael says, with 22 months, thank you. You always say maybe we're missing something. I just think they're delusional and treat life like those mobile games, throwing money until it works. Yeah. And the reason I throw out maybe we're missing something is because there have been times where maybe there is a piece of the puzzle that is not visible to us that makes everything line up, right? Where it's like, with Skull and Bones, for years, we were like, why are they not just canceling it? And then a report comes out, oh, they did a government grant where they got a bunch of money, and that government grant forces them to put it out. They literally can't cancel it. And so they are in too deep and they have to put it out. So they're going to try to keep throwing money at it until they maybe get it to where it can perform like decent or like not totally abysmally. But like, that was a piece of the puzzle that was missing that explained why they weren't just canceling it. And I'm starting to think, like, seriously, there's got to be something like that going on here, because it just doesn't make sense why they'd continue to double down on this, you know? It just does not make sense. Let's see. Brandon Reyes, 40 months. Ooh, baby. Thank you for that one. Haven't been able to keep up with the streams, but almost at 4 years. I already know you're getting that AC4 Collector's Edition statue. It looks awesome. If I can get my hands on one, I will, because I do think it looks awesome. Whether or not I can, now that it's sold out, remains to be seen. But yeah, I want one because it looks really cool. Let's see. You don't make a game and then try to find an audience or fun. You should know who your audience is and know what they like, and then make a good game around it. Well, JD, it's funny because, like, we saw the reporting also. Sesame Skittle, maybe? Sees Skittle? I'm not sure. Thank you for the sub with Prime. What's funny, JD, is that, like, we saw with Highguard that they were building out a game in its original form that was focused on like the base building, that was focused on the mining of the materials to build up the base and all this stuff. And then at some point in development, they realized it wasn't working. So they scrapped that, and then they tried to take those pieces and rework it into the game mode that we ended up getting with Highguard, which was this weird like tower defense that was half-assed. And so like they were building a game they thought would be fun. They realized it wasn't fun. And so then they took those pieces because they were in too deep and tried to cram it together into something new. But at no point was it like on a fundamental level, what is fun? Let's let the players decide kind of how this turns out. And I think with Fair Game $, it does seem to be this game that was born out of like trying to pander a little bit. Like, oh, what do gamers really like? They like eating the rich. What do young people like? Eating the rich and wearing cool clothes and having purple hair. And then from there, they tried to go and do this like Robin Hood extraction shooter game. And I told you guys like a year ago, talking to people at the marathon event, there were many journalists and streamers and stuff who were saying, we think extraction shooters are going to be the next battle royale. We think extraction shooters are the next big thing. And I think that that was also present 2, 3, 4 years ago too. This idea that that was going to be the magical next big thing. And I think it's because a lot of those hardcore gamer designers, game designers were playing like Tarkov and they really liked it. And so they thought this is going to be the next big thing. Once it breaks into the mainstream, it'll be huge. And I just don't think it is. And I think Marathon showed that. But I think it was a game born out of like trying to pander to a non-existent player base. And then they realized those players don't exist, but they were in too deep. And now they're trying to pivot away and make a game that's fun. And it's like, it might be too late. You might be in too deep. Let's see. But yeah, thank you, Brandon, for almost 4 years. That's insane. And then Jack, thank you for the 5. My best guess is the game is so far in the hole that it's better to finish it rather than just lob it away, or it's just a massive ruse. Yeah, I would love to hear if like Jason Schreier can get some reporting done on the company ecosystem and what's going on behind the scenes with like the budgeting and everything, because it is just bizarre. I feel like there's got to be some piece of the puzzle that we don't see, because it just doesn't make sense why they would continue doubling down on it. Maybe it literally is just that Herman doesn't want to admit that maybe this was a bad idea. And so it's like a personal decision that he doesn't want to do. But I don't know, man. It's just bizarre. I want a DC Flash game. I don't know how that would work, Key Rift. It's kind of like a Superman game. Like, how do you make that fun and make that work on a mechanical level? I'm not really sure. Okay. Real quick. Let's do this real quick. New segment. Who said that? Oh, I heard a lot of streamers saying it. I think like Dr. Lupo was there and he was saying it. There were a couple of other people from Twitch. I don't know many Twitch streamer names, so I'm not really sure who they were, but I know that they were apparently a big deal. People made that very clear to me. But yeah, there were some big streamers there that were saying, you know, with 1 million+ followers, and they were saying they think that it's going to be the next big thing. And then all the Bungie employees are like, we agree. So anyway, yeah, Lupo was the chess guy. Yeah. Okay. New segment real quick. Oh, Jesus, SL Gamer. My goodness. That's crazy. Thank you. I'll let this play. Then we'll get into IGN being stupid. Shocker.
At SL Gamer K101 donated $50 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Been a follower for years. Have played console for most of my life. Streamers like you and Cross convinced me to go PC. Got a deal on a 9800X3D, 5000.
I stopped reading. 5080 Bill did not realize what I was missing out on. PC is hooked to my 77-inch OLED. Never going back. Bro, that's goated. I've wanted to hook up a gaming PC to like one of my OLED TVs, because bro, it's just different. People who have never played on an OLED don't get it, but seriously, once you go deep black, you never go back, man. It's built different. But thank you so much. That's outrageously generous. Appreciate you, my friend. Much, much love. And I'm glad to hear that you joined the PC side of things, because it is fantastic. Once you're on PC as well, you never want to go back, man. You never want to go back. It is the place. It is the place. Thank you, my friend. Much love. And then Atakurt, thank you for that. Yeah, based. Yeah, based indeed. Thank you, my friends. Okay. What are we talking about today, my friends? Well, new segment. IGN's done it again. They've done it again. Just when you thought maybe the absolute beating that they took after their mouse PI for hire was enough, and maybe they would circle back and they would like adjust. No. They said, hold my cheese. I've got to go back in. Saros reviews dropped again. What is the most stereotypical IGN review score they possibly could have given Saros? Okay. What's the most stereotypical IGN sitting on the fence post, trying not to piss anybody off review score? What could they possibly give it? Of course, a 7 out of 10, which is where they landed. While the general consensus is that it is extremely good. And I have played a good amount of Saros. I will have coverage and video coming out soon enough for it. I got my copy of the game like 2-3 days ago, so I've not had time to finish it, but it is very, very good. It is very, very good. And as you can see, there's a lot of people giving it perfect scores in the high 9s. People are eating it up. IGN down here at a 7. Now, my stance has always been, you don't have to like the games that I like. That's just fine. But if you are a major outlet that has millions of dollars behind it, tens of millions of followers, you have an obligation to do a good job. Okay? You have an obligation to justify your score. And it needs to make sense. And if it doesn't, I get to make fun of you. Okay? IGN, literally. So what is this review? Well, I pulled it up because people have said that they are probably just trying to farm views by putting scores as an outlier to get clicks, because nobody's going to click on the one 9 out of 10 review in a sea of 15 other 9 out of 10 reviews, but they might click on the one outlier, which gives them clicks and ad revenue. So I have the review pulled up as an archive. Okay. So they don't get any ad revenue. I will say though, the reaction to this tweet with the review score is pretty funny. People asking Metacritic to revisit how they weight it. Life when you don't acknowledge IGN reviews. I'm not even interested in the game, but come on, guys. Why is it you are consistently going against the grain in almost every review? And then today we learned IGN doesn't know what a roguelike is. Jesus Christ, guys, this is hilarious. And then he quotes a snippet of it. So this is what made me want to look at it, okay? Now, as I said, justification for your score is crucial. And it's important because it's how we can often find out why you gave it the score that you did. And that can give us an idea of what you wanted to do, okay? So here's where we get into it. If you don't know what Saros is, I'll give you a really, really brief rundown just so you have a clear idea in case you have no idea what this game is. This is coming from Housemarque. This is coming from the guys that did Returnal. This is a roguelike game, and it is a graphical powerhouse. It's polished out the ever-loving ass. It is about replaying biomes, getting to a boss at the end of each biome, basically. And once you clear that boss, you move on to the next one. Saros has been reworked from Returnal, though, so you don't have to start from the very beginning and work all the way back through each biome. Each run, it will actually let you start from the biome you've reached. So it makes the game a good bit more approachable and less hardcore. There are modifiers if you want to make the game really hardcore, and technically nothing is stopping you from going through every biome again every single time you load in, but you don't have to do that. The way the game is structured is to make it much more streamlined so that players can spend more time experiencing new content and less time just going through the motions all over again, which was a common critique of Returnal. There were a lot of people who played Returnal and really wanted to love it, but would have like a really good run and then die and just be so frustrated that they give up and kind of rage quit the game and never went back to it. And they wanted to avoid that this time. So Saros, really, really amazing, really, really good, and people are loving it. What did IGN say? Well, let's look at this, okay? Let's look at their little snippets. Saros eases the friction of Returnal a bit by putting a bigger focus on permanent resources and upgrades, even giving you second chance revive early on. Back at the home base hub area, you'll work through a skill tree that improves your health, shield, power, potency, and rate of resource gathering. Certain branches can boost weapon leveling and help you pick up better versions in runs, or make you clutch your clutch ultimate ability stronger. But progress isn't necessarily about deepening your skill set or fundamentally changing your playstyle. Rather, it's about making its challenges a little more manageable for future runs. And of course, playing smarter. Nodes in the skill tree are incremental upgrades that are important to obtain because things do get very difficult. Instead of thinking creatively about combat, more weight is put on surviving a war of attrition. This is why Saros can get pretty monotonous at times. Instead of challenging you to think creatively about combat, more weight is put on your ability to survive in a war of attrition. I respect that approach, but when you have to spend 20 or 30 minutes going through the motions in a level just to get another shot at the boss, the repetition begins to settle in. My brothers and sisters. This is a roguelike. These are games where when you die, you go back through the cycle again with a new, not fully randomized, but like a procedurally organized map. And you re-experience it to gain more power and strength to be better equipped to take on the boss the next time. Roguelikes are all about repetition and replaying things over and over again. This is literally, I mean, it's the same exact thing that happened with the Mouse PI for Hire review, where it's like the reviewer doesn't like the kind of game that it is, and so therefore dings it and critiques it for being what it is. You know, it's like critiquing Mouse PI for Hire, saying, I don't know, man, I don't like all the mouse puns and the cheese puns. It is a game where you play as a mouse PI with rubber hose animation. Like, he's a mouse detective and it's all about cheese. Like, what are you doing? Like, you are... It's like critiquing and giving a Titanic a 4 out of 10 because you don't like boats or ships. It's like, what? You knew what this was. Yeah, giving IGN 6 out of 10 or Balatro 6 out of 10. Too many cards. Yeah, I don't like card games, and really it's frustrating. Battleship never really brought another mechanic to the table. It was all cards. It's like, I wanted to like Gwent, but its over-reliance on cards really drove me crazy. I wanted to like The Witcher 3, but they doubled down on swords too much. It's like, bro, what are you talking about? That is what this game is. What are we actually doing? What are we actually doing? This is insane. You don't have to like roguelikes. That's fine. There's plenty of people who don't like roguelikes. Okay? There's plenty of people who don't like the repetition, and that's why they don't like these types of games. And that's fine. My point is, if you don't like these types of games, why are you the one reviewing it? If I hate racing games, I'm not going to review a racing game. If I don't like narrative games, I'm not going to go sit down and work through, you know, The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not going to bother with that. If I don't like RTSs, I'm not going to boot up an RTS and then critique it saying, over-reliance on strategy. Like, it's insane. It's insane. Jack, thank you for the 10. Genuinely baffling by IGN. Like, I can imagine a game like KCD3 coming out. Everyone else is like, yep, it's a 10 out of 10. And IGN is like, nah, mate, it's definitely a 4. The grass isn't green enough. No, that the comparison with that would be, in KCD3, I don't like how they, like, it's all about knights. When are we going to get, like, some really good cell shaded anime waifus in this game? Like, it's just, they're complaining that it's not like this thing that it's not, or that it is what it is. And we're not talking about like, I don't like this mechanic because I think this mechanic would have worked better. That's not what they're doing. It's complaining that it is fundamentally in a genre that they just happen to not like. Or that they have problems with. And in this review, they constantly compare it back to Returnal. Constantly, which is crazy because Returnal was way more repetitive, like way more. If you've ever played Returnal, you know what I'm talking about. Saying that banana bread is bad because it tastes too much like bananas. Exactly. So I suppose it comes with the territory for a roguelike shooter of this style. No, just a roguelike. I mean, just in general, what are we doing? Where build crafting isn't really a thing outside of the artifacts that temporarily boost your stats and come with debuffs to consider, and hopefully plucking out your preferred weapons and powers with a good set of perks. It's an approach that has its merits, demanding that you stay locked in during a run, but that doesn't stop it from feeling tedious in spots. Let's see. As a PlayStation 5 exclusive, Sorrow seems like it's trying to align itself more closely with Sony's other prestige single-player games by having a more deliberate high-concept story, themes of trying to break harmful cycles, coming to terms with grave mistakes, even struggles with sexual identity work their way into what initially seemed like something primarily inspired by Hollywood sci-fi. I commend that direction because these are intriguing threads to pull on, but the ways the storytelling comes up short really stick out when there's a bigger emphasis on it this time around. Sorrows gets halfway there, but unfortunately leaves many of its stronger plot lines underdeveloped. This is also something when I talked to one of the game designers, they stress multiple times. They know people who like roguelike games, some of them don't like story stuff. They just don't. Like, they're here for the gameplay. It is gameplay first, and they stress many times Saros is gameplay first. That's what we're focused on. They added in a story, they added in narrative stuff, but if you don't want to mess with it, you do not have to. You don't have to. Like, they have the main story stuff that will play out through like cutscenes at the start and occasional story beats throughout the game. But like any of the secondary characters, you can pretty much entirely ignore them if you want to. You know, like you can just ignore it because they're like, it's gameplay first. And so it's also like, again, complaining that it is what it is. So let's see, down here. Returnal was impactful because it solely focused on Celine and her time loop fighting through Atropos. I always say it weird. It used that format to reflect her personal struggles that were subtle in the early hours, then gave you the means to paint a clearer picture the deeper you got. Roguelite as a metaphor worked there so well, and its parallels hit hard when you reached a point where it all started falling into place. Sorrow bites off more than it can chew, which I can admire, but the actual execution struggles to send the message I think it's sending. Verdict. With Sorrow's Housemarque once again proved that its bullet hell sensibilities mesh incredibly well with fluid, super challenging action. This is primarily a test of skill that's as much rhythmic dance as it is a fireworks show with a punch-packing sci-fi arsenal. The roguelike structure doesn't always work in its favor as it struggles to balance the repetition that's a natural part of the genre with a strong sense of progression. Although, going through the motions was still fine because at least I could sharpen my skills for some sick boss fights that were as difficult as they were fun. I'm left conflicted after the 22 hours I put into it, seeing it all the way through to its true ending though. There's a bigger emphasis on story this time around and it's more ambitious in some respects, which I appreciated, but when its strongest ideas are a bit too abstracted, the powerful themes can end up ringing hollow. So while it's eclipsed by its predecessor in some important ways, Saros was still worth banging my head against over and over again. And once more, in the subtitle of their review, the way that they specifically compare it to Returnal has left people confused because Returnal was way more repetitive, and then one of their primary complaints about Saros is that it can feel repetitive. I was like, what? Why? So I can't say I'm surprised. Again, it's fine. It's fine if you want to just like if you're somebody who disagrees, or it's fine if you don't like these types of games, but I don't know why you're the one reviewing it if you don't like these types of games. This particular reviewer seems to focus mainly, at least in recent memory, on reviewing, like he reviewed Pragmata for them. He reviewed Code Vein, Octopath Traveler 0, Full Metal Schoolgirl. I don't know what that is. It's also apparently a roguelike. I don't know what that is. Ghost of Yote did the Ghost of Yote reviews. It tends to seemingly focus on a lot of like narrative focused games and then hardware. Switch 2 camera review. Low profile HyperX Cloud Mix 2 deftly blends gaming headset with casual headphones. So it does like headphone and keyboard and mouse reviews. Okay. So I don't, I'm just, it's IGN. At the end of the day, it's IGN. What do we expect? I've seen some people point out like, it's ridiculous, like looking so deeply into IGN reviews. The reason people look at the IGN reviews and the reason why it's meme worthy and funny and stupid is because they are, whether you like it or not, massive, and they do have sway on the industry. I don't like that they do, but they do. These outlets have an outsized influence on the direction of a lot of these companies because there's a lot of executives who do their marketing and make their choices based on the kind of old school institutional press and media machine within the games industry. So they could just totally say screw it to IGN and say screw it and still find tremendous success. We saw that with like Black Myth Wukong. They were getting hit pieces written by Eurogamer and IGN against them because I'm not joking, their logo looked too much like a sperm is what one of the critiques was. And again, I know that sounds like I'm memeing or making something up. No, literally IGN in their hit piece article they wrote, they said that one of the reasons that they thought that Game Science was a sexist company was because the logo looked kind of like a sperm. Like insanity. But like they just kind of ignored them. They didn't do any sort of, as far as I'm aware, paid promotion with IGN. They just did what they were doing and they found tremendous success. Sold tens of millions of copies, you know? Tens of millions, and they didn't need IGN, but there's still a lot of companies that try to cater to that. I will say I have tried to verbalize how IGN, I think, often does a lot more harm to studios and to games than good. A fantastic example is like when Ubisoft hired IGN to do the gameplay preview or demo for Star Wars Outlaws. They captured it with such hilariously low bitrate that people thought that Star Wars Outlaws was running at like 720p on whatever console they were testing. And it wasn't. In fact, the original footage looked pretty solid. It was that IGN had no freaking idea what they were doing when it came to encoding video, despite having 20 million subscribers on YouTube, you know, absolutely crazy. And in that case, I think IGN actually did them more harm than they did good because people saw that and got the wrong impression, you know? So I would encourage companies to try to shake the urge to go to places like IGN. I don't think you need them. I don't think you need them anymore. Maybe back in 2005 you did, but nowadays I don't think you do. And I think you're even seeing it now in like overall coverage. I mean, even here, like you can see we did, Black Flag Resynced features major changes. And so they did this video discussing Black Flag changes, and it does like 20,000 views. Maddie did a video on it, did 89,000. My video from yesterday is at 228,000. Like clearly they don't need IGN for coverage. they clearly are doing just fine. And perhaps the funniest one is I think the overall reaction people have had to this. Again, Ashton tagged me in this earlier on stream. This is their TikTok post from IGN about the Black Flag Resync thing, and people are just clowning on them. Like they've done so much reputational harm to themselves with the laughable reviews and the editorial guidance that's non-existent that it's just, they got to dig themselves out of this pit, dude. But they don't seem to recognize that there's a problem. So if it is intentional and they're just trying to farm outrage clicks and stuff by always being the outlier, maybe that's a brilliant plan. I don't personally think so, because I think that all of this brand damage is going to harm them a lot more in the long run. But there you go. Anyway, Occam's Chainsaw, dude, your Steam Deck usage is on point. Really makes it look like an edited show instead of a stream. Thank you, my friend. It's bad, dude, because it's kind of muscle memory at this point. I don't even realize I'm doing it, but I'll like be on a conference call with people, and like because of how my camera's set up, I have to use OBS virtual camera to route it through to like Zoom or whatever. So like be on a call with people like talking business or something. Like I was on a call with a lawyer, and it's muscle memory that when I like am going big idea, big picture stuff, I might go wide angle, but then when I want to really emphasize a point, I bring it in close. And I realized I was doing this while just like chatting with a lawyer, and it was way they're like, what is happening? What is going on? They were confused. So I had to like literally move it and like sit on my hand because I was like, I keep doing it. It just keeps happening. Anyway. I mean, dude, you start to see these patterns with IGN reviews. You just know they're going to do it for clips by being the outlier. But what's funny is that they're not even really that much of an outlier. Like Saros, they're 7. Everyone else is in like the 9s. So it's like, I guess they're the outlier, but it's not like they came out swinging with a 4. You know, they'll occasionally do that with like Alien Isolation years ago. But yeah, I don't know what the hell they're doing. But anyway. When is trailer 3 coming for GTA? I think maybe sometime in May, probably early May. I think they'll just drop it casually one day. Halo is digging its grave even further after devs ditch Battle Royale for an extraction shooter project. Yeah, dude, Halo is just literally the game that is, or the franchise and the studio that is the ultimate trend chaser. Like there's just no creativity left over there. It's crazy. And I know many other people have said that too, but it's pretty like omnipresent and apparent that everything they do is just about chasing whatever they think is the new wave. And there's just no creativity. It's really sad. Talk about like a waste of potential. Jonas, thank you for the 11 months. I got to preview Forza 6. It seems like a good game. I just don't like all the cars. I want skateboards. Hashtag IGN. Yeah, literally. Let's see. Adidara, thank you for that super chat. Hey, I just want to say a lot of thanks and show support all the way from rough patch of depression, and you make living way better. By the way, I joined as a member. How do I join the Discord? First of all, thank you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Much love. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Secondly, joining the Discord, once you are a member, I see you're a member, you have to connect your YouTube account to your Discord account. There's like, if you go Discord, gear button settings, there's a connections tab. You have to connect your YouTube account to that, and then it should automatically add you to the server. It'll show up as like connected servers or whatever. It should show up. If somehow it still doesn't, sometimes like 1 in 100 times, it doesn't invite people over for whatever reason, just reach out to me and like, let me know, send me a screenshot of your membership and we can brute force you in with like a dedicated link. So we'll get you in there either way, but the connection is the easiest way to do it. Joshua, thank you for that. A little off topic, but where's Assassin's Creed Jade? It apparently is still out there. The team is responding to people on their Discord and they're being real about it. So like it's apparently still happening. Who knows where it is. Let's see. Shia K USA, thank you for the 5. My biggest hope is we get an expansion for Edward after this story. Like, wouldn't it be cool if he explored the East Indies like in the webtoon? I mean, if this blows up and is really that massive, you better believe that they may consider doing a sequel or something. It would be such a layup for them if they built from the ground up like a true PlayStation 6 next generation Black Flag sequel. Don't put it past them, dude. The guy that is now in charge of all of Assassin's Creed is the original creative director of Black Flag. You never know. And if this sells millions and millions of copies, you better believe they'll consider it. Ubisoft will ruin him. He left Ubisoft because he wasn't happy with what they were doing. And then they just brought him back. So he has no problem with leaving if he's not liking where things are going. So I think as long as he's there, it's because he's down with what they're doing. And they specifically put him in place with the power to do whatever he needed to do. So it seems like they're finally like, okay, you figure it out. You just go do what you're gonna do. You know, we'll get out of your way, figure it out. Now, to be clear, Jackson, by the way, thank you for the membership. To be clear, there's still going to be this, like, they're not out of the woods yet. Okay, people need to remember, Black Flag is probably going to do really, really well. It's still expected later this year that we'll see the multiplayer game, Invictus. That is probably still coming later this year. So when they do that, I expect there to be a ton of eye rolling and a lot of like, oh boy, we thought they were back and they came back with a multiplayer game. There's going to be stuff like that. That's why I said their best bet would be to launch the Black Flag remake and the multiplayer game at the same time, so that people who want multiplayer have that and people who want single player have something for them. But that way it doesn't feel like you're replacing a single player game with the multiplayer game. But yeah, they should still have the multiplayer game at some point this year, allegedly. So tell them to focus on parkour in the games when you talk to him next. Yeah, that is one of the points brought up specifically to him, was parkour needs to be a focus, and motion captured cutscenes. For the love of God, no more procedural. Yes, your objective is over there. Thank you. Like, and he seemed to be very aware of that critique. So I don't think he's a fan of what they've been doing either. Yeah, Skull and Bones 2. Yeah. This time it's personal. Okay. Well, fam, I have a conference call with the whole team here in 4 minutes. I'm meeting with Jacob and Landon and Trevor and everybody. So I am going to go do that. Thank you guys for being here. When is Hexa? It was originally supposed to be late this year. I think with GTA 6, it's probably booped too early next year. That's my guess. But yeah. I think it was going to come out this year. Now I think it'd be launching in like October, right next to GTA, and I think they just don't want to mess with that. So I would guess it's been delayed. Maybe it still gets out by October. If they could do that, that would be amazing. But I think if they were going to do that, they would be at like in LA at Summer Games Fest or something, doing their own showcase. But it doesn't seem like they're doing that, at least as far as I'm aware. So I'm guessing it was delayed, but we'll see. Anyway, much love. I'll see you guys soon on Monday, rocking and rolling. Much love, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Mwah. This stream was so good, but too much Luke. 6 out of 10. Hell yeah. Bye-bye.